Well, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon to wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to round 6 of the Creator Series that takes us to Daytona. A thrilling circuit that often is most known for its 24-hour race, but tonight a slightly shorter one ensues for all of our drivers in their multi-class madness. My name's Tom Knight. Pleasure to be taking you through the next hour or so of racing action, and alongside me, an absolutely fantastic commentator and a good friend of mine, Mr. John Harris. John, how are we doing?
I could return endless compliments to you as well as a commentator. It's fantastic to be at Daytona, isn't it? I mean, it's one of those tracks that everybody looks forward to. And in the Creator Series, we've had a lot of drama and crashes this season. Maybe with a little bit more open circuit, they can keep their acts together. I doubt it. So get some popcorn, prepare for the chaos as usual.
Absolutely get some popcorn. I believe it is International Popcorn Lovers Day as well, so that one sits in rather nicely. But as we said, round 6 of the Creator Series takes us to Daytona this afternoon. Why don't we have a quick check of how our calendar lines up for the rest of the season as well? And here it is on your screens in all of its glory. Next week, don't forget, is a break week. You will not see us on your screens next Thursday afternoon. But then after that, we head to Sebring, we head to Talladega before taking our final season break of round season 3. We then finish off with the triple header that is going to be Miami Autodrome, our Long Beach special event that takes place on Saturday instead of our usual Thursday runnings. And then to kick off the season, well, who could have thought of a better track? It's Monza Historic, but this time including the chicanes, John.
Yeah, from memory, I might have been commentating on that race. I don't think it was the chicanes that were the problem, but we'll find out in round 10, I guess.
You're absolutely right. It was one of the biggest crashes I think we've seen in the Creator Series before they even got onto the traditional layout that we know and love in modern day racing. Obviously, it was on the old banking that isn't typically run, apart from in the occasional Week 13 chaos, especially if you're a NASCAR fan. That one seems to make an appearance here, there, and everywhere. But we are really looking forward to it. It's our usual multi-class action that is tonight. Of course, if you're brand new and you're just tuning in for the first time, hi, nice to see you. The races and the chaos that is about to come your way is IndyCar as Class 1. We then have GT3s as the second class. They are both made up of our creators and their entries. We then have their communities partaking as the third and final class. They're racing in the GR86s. So it is going to be, all in all, carnage, chaos, and a little bit of confusion, I think, as we head through this race, because I have heard word that the fog will be rolling in to start the race off.
Fog at Daytona, well, they are technically close to the sea, so I'll take that one. But definitely no banking here tonight either to have chaos like at Monza, so I'm sure there will be no problems whatsoever. I mean, we've seen it in endurance racing. Everything can go wrong at these fast banked corners or at the chicanes with people trying to overtake. So it's going to be so tricky for our drivers. But I mean, that's the name of the game in Creator Series, isn't it? You've got to score points, you've got to keep it consistent. And as we found out last time, if you're not there at the finish, you score 0 points. And so you have to keep it on the track right until the end.
You're absolutely right, you do. And one thing we do normally do at the start of these shows is a lovely chat with some of our drivers. And we've got one prepped and ready to go right from the very offset. The one and only Ancephalosis is here to have a brief chat. Andy, let's just have a little chat. Daytona, a fantastic circuit in its own right. And now we bring in 3 series of cars that shouldn't necessarily go together. What are your predictions? I think he's muted.
Oh, I am muted. I'm so sorry. What was the last question there? I'm sorry. The in-game audio was loud.
How do you think the race is going to go? Obviously, we've got 3 generations or 3 series of cars that don't traditionally go together at Daytona. Obviously, it's very used to multi-class racing in its own right. But what do you reckon we're in for this evening?
Oh, we're in for a good race. I reckon we're in for a good race. I'm really excited for this one. Lots of races stood out on the calendar, but I think we all know and love Daytona to some extent. It's such an iconic location for multi-class racing. You've got the big oval. You've got an infield, which isn't like too complicated. It's almost the perfect amount of simple Daytona. It's an easy track to understand, but you got to really fight for those tenths, for those hundredths. You got to really take some risks coming into like the bus stop in turn 1. And obviously, being a Roval, we're going to see some insane speeds today. I'm guessing the Indy cars are hitting darn near 200 miles an hour. GT3s are going to be doing 180 miles an hour. So the passing speeds between the GR86 and the Indy car, it's going to be wild. I'm very, very excited for today's race. I'm sure it'll be a good one.
I echo. Sorry, John, go.
Sorry, yeah, I have two questions on that. One, how long will it be until you regret the comments about the track being easy and lots of space to overtake? And two, do you think the GR86s will reach 180 miles per hour when they get punted off the line?
Great question. That's a fantastic. That second question was so good, it might have made me forget the first one. No, I think I'm gonna love the. It was about the space on the track. I'm gonna love the racing, man. I really do love Daytona. My first Daytona 24 was last year in 2025. Really had me fall in love. I think that was my first 24-hour race in general. And then my second 24-hour Daytona was this year, and I feel like this time I really did fall in love more with the track and the multi-class aspect. The infield is an interesting one because there's 2 or 3 fairly small straights. If you're aggressive, you can make some interesting passes happen in the infield. So looking forward to see who tries to make those work and how that plays out. And do I think a GR86 will reach 180 miles an hour? I would be really disappointed if it didn't.
Absolutely. And who knows?
Someone's got to make it happen.
Someone probably will make it happen, and their name is probably the unsafety car if we are following previous history. But Cephalosis, we wish you the absolute best of luck with the race, and who knows, I'll be able to speak to you after as well.
Hey, thank you very much. Sounds good, man. Try to make it a good one.
You too. Well, and Cephalosis, everybody, of course, one of the entries for this afternoon in the GT3 class, and we have now got an interview with another lovely individual. This time, one of the IndyCar runners. We have got Lamp in our clutches, lighting up our room. Everybody, Lamp, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? How you doing in this fog? Can you guys see out of the commentary booth for the track, or is it too foggy?
It's quite a hard one to see, especially with the Indies having no lights on. It's at least the GT3s, we can kind of see their headlights pointing around the circuit. But talk us through how it's like to drive out there with those conditions that we mentioned.
Feels a little spooky. It seems like the Brits brought over some fog. I frequent Florida. I'm going to be down there at Sebring. I painted my first real-life livery. Shout out to Kaizen Autosport. They let me paint their Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And I'm going to be going down there and seeing it. But yeah, it's never really this foggy, I feel like, in Florida, so...
You don't remember the 24 hours of Daytona? Was it this year?
I think I fell asleep during the night stint, but...
Yeah, there was about a 7-and-something hour safety car period, obviously, when it was very heavy fog. So we're just sticking with traditions.
Fair. But yeah, no, it's very foggy. From what I've noticed, I do not have the pace. I was using push to pass to get the fastest lap around here, and then I asked Ryan, I was like, hey man, do you use push to pass on any of these laps? He's like, no. So
Ryan's a bear with a sore head at the moment. He hasn't had a few good results, or he's been very unlucky, so I'm sure he's done quite a bit of practice for this one. How's the confidence feeling then, rather than the pace?
I mean, I have no confidence. I haven't been in the sim really at all lately, so it's kind of, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off here. I'm just practicing a pit entry because I haven't done that yet. But sorry, I need to change. There's a lot of people talking in the session. I don't have a mute all themes or whatever yet, or right now. All right, we're good now. So yeah, like I have zero confidence in the car, but I'm just gonna, be out here, try to. I don't think I have pace to win it, but a podium would be nice.
What's the most difficult bit then? What's the most difficult bit to gain confidence?
Well, it seems like the tires. Like I've driven GTPs around here, no problem, right? But it seems the tires are very overheating, like the rears. So I would if you're pushing, you're gonna loop it, and the draft really doesn't seem that helpful on the back straight and everything. So long laps, right? We have 1:30 laps and only 200 seconds of push to pass, and if you're following within a second in the infield, it seems like dirty air, right? So you're heating up your tires even more. That's the game you're going to play. 200 seconds of push to pass, trying to keep your tires cool, but also be able to fight for the places. It should be interesting.
Have you done any maybe longer runs trying to figure out how long these tyres will last? I think we spoke to a couple of the drivers before the show started, and it was going to be about 8 or 9 laps until the tyres started to fall off rather dramatically, especially for the primaries.
Yeah, I don't know. Since I've taken a break from playing iRacing, and I've been chilling out for like 2 months, but it seems like my right foot has gotten heavier. In that time, I lost 20 pounds, but somehow my right foot has gotten heavier. And out of these corners, I'm just noticing the car is just slipping a lot. I haven't even made it to 9 laps in a stint yet to know what that's like, but I guess we'll figure it out when it comes in true Creator Series fashion. You know, just play it by ear.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you hop on with what time you have left in practice. It's been fantastic to speak to you, and I'm sure we will see you after the race as well.
Yeah, it was lovely chatting with you guys. Have fun.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy the fog as it stands at the moment. Well, Lamp, as always, lighting up the room on our screens, and we have got just one more conversation to have very briefly, but also a hot lap as well. Ryan L83 steps into the commentary booth. Ryan, we spoke to Lamp just a few moments ago here, before we let you go on your hot lap, about tyre concerns. It's going to be the major factor here for the IndyCars. Maybe want to share some light on that?
Yes. Because of currently the conditions are all right, but earlier the track temp being high, the tyres don't like it. And in the tyres I'm on at the minute, the hardest compound, they get to around about 120, 130 degrees, and that's hot. In the alternate tyres, or the softer compound, it's even worse. So tyre management's probably going to be the biggest factor today than raw pace from a lot of people. So yeah, it's going to be the key one, I think, tonight with these conditions we've got going at the minute.
Absolutely. So over to you, good sir. We will let you go and give us a hot lap and show us around Daytona.
Thank you very much. So we're on the oval, of course, getting ourselves ready to go for the first lap here. Maxing out the revs at the minute, so about 300 kilometers an hour going into turn 1. Very late in the IndyCar with the brakes we have. But I try and take as tight entry as possible, but be very careful on exit because of the tyres on the rear. They get extremely hot. Into this hairpin turn, want to take go wide on entry, come in, and then you got to be careful on exit, where some people may deploy the hybrid a little bit. We get past the Corvette into the kink, so into the second hairpin. Indy cars may take this sort of line where a wide entry, then a tight exit, and then out wide. Right hand side where the 100-meter board is. It's a good point. Again, exit onto the oval's key to get a good sector time here. So short shift up the third just to reduce the wheel spin on the rears. And then it's just full throttle towards the bus stop, which is going to be, I think, the make or break for the IndyCars, because if you touch the curbs in certain places, you will get damage on the front wing. So it's going to be very careful how committed you are through here. So you've got to be very careful on exit there. May have got away with that a tiny bit. But again, it's completely flat all the way around. As the unsafety car there, just I think tried to take me out there, but has absolutely failed yet again. And then it's just a short run to the line. And that's Daytona.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Ryan. And interesting to see how the IndyCar line, I think, is going to differ from that of the GT3s. We are on the phone with Racing Tour at the moment. We're firing our unsafety car driver. Unfortunately, they weren't unsafe enough in this practice session. But, of course, as we head into this, it's going to be, feel like a bit of an endurance race, isn't it, in the IndyCars? Because you are going to have to manage the tyres really so much more than you traditionally would in races gone past.
Yeah, I mean, similar to this, I think, would be when we did the Circuit of the South event last season. I think in terms of track temp and the tyre wear, I think also traffic's going to be a big play. So the infield section especially, doing testing, when you see two GR86s side by side, there's nowhere to go. And of course, the bus stop is going to be an absolute nightmare for a lot of us. So getting past them as quickly as possible, even before the bus stop, can be make or break for some gaps evolving in not just IndyCar, but also in GT3 as well.
Absolutely. John,
I heard
anything?
briefly that maybe dirty air might be a problem. Do you think that will be the case?
Absolutely. The setup that we've been assigned with is the medium downforce setup. It is okay, but when you get really close, maybe half a second, dirty air is really bad, and grip's going to be not nice in the infield section, but with the slipstream on the ovals, I think is going to be... got a decent top end, so I think it should be okay, but the infield and bus stop is going to be a bit of a problem.
Amazing stuff. Ryan, we wish you all the best of luck. 10 seconds left in practice before you grid up. We'll see you out on track.
Thank you, chaps.
Amazing stuff. Ryan L83, everybody, as practice comes to a close then, and it is time for the race to take effect. 45 laps here at Daytona is what will be coming your way in the next few moments. Let us know in the live chats down below who you think is going to do well in all three of the classes that we have running today, that being the IndyCar, the GT3s, and of course those Toyota GR86s driven by individual members of the community. It's time to grid here, John. Who are your early predictions, your early bets on as who might do well?
I've got to back Ryan. He's had such a bad run of luck. Surely it's going to come right for him at some point, and I can't jinx him every single time. In the GT3's chaos, I have absolutely no idea. Maybe it's time for Sparks or someone else to light up the grid.
Certainly are indeed. And here we go then, the starting grid for this afternoon's endeavours. Love46 lines up on pole position alongside Hayden Gullis, who starts in second place. We then move on to Ryan L83, who's got 83 problems, but a corner ain't one, alongside Alex Gillen, who starts from fourth. Fifth place is Reska Kioso, alongside Brendan Hyperstar, of course, infamous on the ovals. Whether he's any better on the interior, we will find out. Seventh place, Solstice steps in as a reservist here this afternoon, alongside Lamp, who will be lighting up the track for us. Next row, NL Stroopwafel steps in as the lead of the GT3 category with its Des TV. Family-friendly fun, friends forever, and that's a tongue twister. 11th, Chesnoid Gaming. It is very unmissable orange and yellow McLaren alongside Joshimas, who starts from 12th place. 13th is taken by Ancephalosis, who's in the Mercedes this afternoon alongside Sparks. Hopefully him and Lamp won't come to blows. Storm Molina starts 15th. Hopefully this fog is indications of signs of things to come, with the Lift Fox starting in 16th. Smiler Ball steps in as one of our reservists this afternoon as well, starting from 17th place with Josh Merrin in 18th in the BMW. We then move on to the community entry, so 19th place for Team Chesnoid will be Reese alongside Diam Gal starting in 20th. 21st is Carl McGuinness representing Scotland, and Flyer X, who is from the UK. Clark steps in at 23rd place alongside Ben Kerder in 24th. You'll remember him from our Cross Car Carnage event. 25th is Asoy, stepping in for Corner Racing X Ryan L83, with Mia Rose starting in 26th place. 27th and 28th, our favourite row on the grid, is taken up by both our unsafety cars, who'll be out there trying to keep the action contained here this afternoon. So, as we step in, 45 laps of racing, you can see all the cars lined up just in the distance. The fog has well and truly descended here at Daytona, John. I think we're ready for some racing.
It's got a spooky air to it, hasn't it? I love this. The atmosphere is unreal, as you know, at Daytona, and I'm sure we're going to have a great race here. Unusual grid. A few drivers may be getting a little bit lucky in their grid placements, but we shall see. It's looking like, I think, maybe looking at the times in practice, Sparks might have a good race, as I predicted, but once again, it's all going to be about those first few laps, whether you can keep it clean, because as we've seen multiple times this season, if you get toward the front of the grid, it's much easier to keep that position when or if we have an unsafety car.
Absolutely right. Smiler Ball there with the most crisp camera image I think I've seen in a very, very long time. Something you love to see. Love 46 on pole position here this afternoon. As the old phrase goes, you can win a race into turn one. We shall see how that pans out. I see Josh's corner in the chat as well. We do miss you. We can't wait for you to be back. And oh my goodness, It is the biggest whitewash we have seen at Daytona since about a couple of months ago, when this happened at the real life 24 Hours of Daytona. But Hayden Gullis alongside there as they make their way around the banking and towards the starters' orders.
They're going to either need radar or sonar to navigate right now. I'm getting word that the fog will lift eventually, but at the moment for the start, which is arguably the place you don't want the fog, you're going to have to just deal with it. It's going to be interesting to see who is the bravest when, for example, the IndyCars lap the GR86s. But we are getting close to race start here. Ooh, the nerves. Who will get a good turn one? I don't know. What's your bet, TK?
I think it's going to be much for muchness here. As they come around the final banking, the GT3s have not left a massive gap here. But it's all on Love 46 now and waiting for the green flag to fly. And here we go. We're underway in Daytona. 3 wide immediately off the start into the first corner. Down the inside goes Ryan at 83, trying to take the lead from a very early start, and does so indeed. And I wonder if he means to go on like this. There's carnage in the GT3 field further back. That's going to be, I think it's Des TV and the Lamborghini going wrong. Who's that spinning in the background?
Josh Immers, I think.
Josh Immers. Oh, and that's Ryan. That's Ryan off, I'm fairly sure.
It looks like it, yeah. I'm not exactly sure what's happened there. He got a storming start out of nowhere, really, just jumping everybody. And somehow, I think there's been a collision. I'm not exactly sure how that has happened. Chesnoid, I think, involved in that crash with Josh Immers. So quite a bit of argy-bargy happening. It's Des TV nearly getting collected with it as well. GR86s have got away cleanly, though.
They certainly have. I don't think it was Ryan that crashed in the early stages. He's in first at the moment, about half a second between himself and Reska Kioso. We're being told it was Lamp that faced the wrong way, at least for the IndyCars. There was Josh Merrin that was facing the wrong way for the GT3 category. And it is interesting to see how everybody's starting to cope here. Hayden Gullis right on the rear now of Ryan L83, I believe that to be. Sorry, that's Reska Kioso. Both similar looking yellow cars, aren't they, John?
They are, yes. A lot of people choosing the yellow livery. There's another IndyCar that's been involved in it because there's Lamp, but we're also missing P8. That's Love 46 in the pit lane. There we go, coming up on the screen now. And you can see the slipstream effect. Reska Kioso have been very, very fast in places, but the consistency just hasn't been there at the moment. But Ryan will be keen to defend this, and as you can see, just not enough overspeed into turn one. Oh, that is Brendan Hyperstar spun around, I think, by Hayden Gullis. Not too much damage made there, and no barriers found, but a lot of time lost. Let's see exactly what happened. So Brendan in the slipstream round the outside of Hayden, and I think it's going to be just, trying to close the door there. And I think that maybe he thought Hayden had backed out of it, but it certainly wasn't the case.
Yeah, it looked like Hayden was trying to stick it in towards the first corner. Has lost a majority of his front wingers, Gullis, and that will hamper him in the laps to go by. He'll have to shortly make a pit stop if he wants to try and keep any downforce on the car. The Mercedes trying to just sneak their way past their contact as well. Oh my goodness, what has happened there? I think that was Ancephalosis trying to nudge his way through.
Stroopwafel nearly getting spun round. So Ancephalosis, really good move, I will say. Stroopwafel goes a little bit wide and there's the nose up the inside, so it's fair game. But I think Ancephalosis just tried to go to the outside a little bit too much and then has created their own problem, effectively.
I think he was expecting Stroopwafel to really open up that corner more, but of course he's under no obligation to have to do so. And in fact has just created his own incident here. We ride on board with Reska Kioso. Still trying to chase down Ryan L83 for the lead of the race at the moment. You can see the tyre disparity that we have in the IndyCar fields at the moment. We've got a pretty 50-50 split in terms of the option in the primaries to see us through the start of this race, and Brendan Hyperstar starting to gain some time back on Alex Gillen in front. We said he's going to be a force to be reckoned with when he gets onto the oval, but that infield is going to be a completely different question. Chesnoid Gaming there, just behind Storm Molina as Ryan L83 sets the fastest lap of the race so far. We watch the Aston Martin, Storm Molina 007, so perfectly repping the number as they stand in fifth place in class at the moment.
Yes, with Aidan Pohl being absent for good reasons, we must point out, but him being absent and Suelia Almeida not being here either. The GT3 class has a chance for victory here as we see Chesnoid going around the outside of Sparks. Will Sparks be able to defend it? It looks like it, but no. Early braking, and it means that Chesnoid is so painfully close to being able to slam the door shut, but no, not quite. Forced wide and onto the banked off camber corner, you just have no grip on the outside, and it's Linus Storm Molina battling with Chesnoid now round the outside. The Aston Martin looks to have good grip, and Chesnoid struggling on the re-acceleration there. Who will it be into the West Horseshoe?
Question. Chesnoid still in the back of Storm Molina as they go in towards the tight right-hander, looks to go around the outside again, and I think just exploring some unique lines here, but this is opening up the opportunity. We saw Storm Molina come through, we now see Smiler Bull making the best of that opportunity and getting the better of the McLaren this time around, and promotes himself up to 5th in class, 11th overall, and Storm Molina in the green, the British racing green Aston Martin, back on towards the banking, but well and truly has, I believe, that Porsche for company as they head and will gain as much slipstream as they possibly can.
Yes, Smilerbull, after a topsy-turvy outing in the IndyCar, now in the GT3s, will be looking to make amends for that. The Porsche is fast, we know that, and look at the concentration. The tongue is out, everything is anticipating the braking zone, but no gap is found. Storm Molina taking a wide line, and Smilerbull really aggressive over the curbs there, but no time found. Just coasting through the corner seems to be the way to do it in the GT3s, and look at that gap that's been gained. Is going to take him another lap to close that down.
It absolutely is, and it's sometimes the double-edged sword, isn't it, of GT racing. You want to try and be aggressive over certain curves, but if it doesn't work out, you find yourself maybe half a second down overall, and it can just take you another couple laps to get back to being that close. We're seeing an almighty scrap here between the GR86s. This is Clark on the back of Diamgal, practically pushing her through the opening bank as we start to see the IndyCar field start to make their way past. Thankfully, using the outside of the banking. That's both Hayden Gullis and I believe Alex Gillen just making their way past. But
oh no!
Going to close! Oh my goodness! I think that car went upside down. There we go! Oh my goodness! We saw the door was closing. I don't think the IndyCar could have done anything about that. And we'll get a lovely replay here because this was just heart in mouth moment for Brendan Hyperstar.
No, I think that was, I'm not exactly sure, was that Ben Turda that just closed the door a little bit? And Brendan Hyperstar was coming through, and not much could happen there. Brendan was just carrying so much speed, the gap closed. You can see the gap is open, and then just the GR86 trying to go around the outside of everybody. And to be fair, that has collected the majority of the GR86s, who've remained absolutely fine in a straight line, by the way.
Yeah, it's just that rear left wheel that got the tap as he was trying to get his way through. Unsurprisingly, the unsafety car has been called out here to neutralise the field somewhat. The stewards and the marshals doing the best to clear up what debris they can from Hyperstar's IndyCar. And you can see there making its way out of pit road, the almighty Riley Daytona prototype, which is rather apt, isn't it, to be running here at Daytona?
Oh yeah, this car is legendary, and the noise it makes is absolutely lovely. Just a note for our unsafety car crews, now is not the time to take out Ryan L83, that was in practice. But yeah, it's one of those things that, I mean, this kind of track was always going to have an unsafety car. It's just that fast, and you can see with the incident and the replay we had that just in the split second that decisions are made, sometimes you're just in a position you can't get yourself out of it and an accident happens. So it will mean that a lot of people can get a short pit stop in or repair any damage. I'm sure a few people just having a light aerodynamic damage, they'll want to get that fixed. Maybe even some fresh tires on the car. Why not? There's quite a bit of time left in this race, so may as well use it.
Yeah, I think anyone starting on the options will be very thankful for that. In the pit stop, we can see here just the carnage in the GT3 field right off the very start. What exactly happened to Josh Schumer's?
On the curb.
I think that just looked, yeah, he just touched the curb and car's gone around, and you can see the wheels spinning as he tries to stop it and send it in the other direction. It just was saying no to him. This is Lamp's incident. Slightly earlier on as well, I believe this was the car we saw facing backwards.
Whoa.
Oh, no, that wasn't. Oh, it was Lamp. He's just outbraked himself and locked some of the tyres, but there was almost certainly another car that
was Love 46.
It was. Let's have a look and see what happened right about here.
So, okay, over the curb. Oh, yeah, the curb. Again, the inside curb this time.
Yeah.
Just bouncing.
They are causing carnage. We were expecting it to potentially be the curbs at the Le Mans chicane, not necessarily the ones in the opening few corners, but does well to get that IndyCar back out on towards the circuit. We have heard word from the marshals as well. Brendan Hyperstar is okay, as we see Love 46 again just having issues, I believe, with the car.
Okay, so what I'm thinking of right now is I didn't really want to comment on the first crash, but I'm thinking perhaps a small technical issue there because Love 46 did stay about 2 minutes in the pits. This is Encephalosis and it's Des TV, all over, 4 wheels airborne right there and sensibly hitting the brakes trying to get it stopped, but that means you rotate as well and rejoins quite nicely. That could have been a lot worse, to be fair. And this, I think, was Brendan Hyperstar, so we're going to get another angle of this. It's terrifying from this angle. Oh, I cringe even looking at it right now, and that was a good flip. I'm not sure if it would get you an Olympic gold medal, but that was close. But sadly, that suspension is well and truly toast.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for effort for both Des and Hyperstar there as they, well, I think went for ambitious moves 9 times out of 10, and we do see the field just starting to work its way out. I believe that's Alex Gillen just going around the outside, making his way back up into his respective position and slots in just behind the unsafety car because somehow Alex Gillen is leading this field here, John.
I think everyone else has gone in for pit stops. And, you know, Alex has always been one to be caught out on strategy at the end of the race. So I think Alex is just doing the opposite thing of staying out initially and then pitting if there's another problem. So whether that'll work out or not, I have no idea. Just want to comment then on the curbs is that what happened to Love 46, I think also is the fact that it was the race start. The tyres may be a little bit cold from staying in behind the unsafety car. And what that means is once you bounce over the curb, you lose traction and you're trying to keep it absolutely flat out until the international horseshoe, and then you just go straight off and there's not much you can do about it because you have no grip. And I think it's the same for the GT3s. The curbing at the what was called the bus stop chicane but now the Le Mans chicane is less than it used to be, but the problem is you want to attack it more, and the problem is that once you got 2 or 3 wheels off of the deck, there's no grip, and the same thing, you go rotating off and you're a passenger at that point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we've got some information coming in from our sources around the circuit. That's what I'm going to call chat this afternoon. Apparently, Lith Fox crashed under safety car through the Le Mans chicane. So I wonder if we're able to have a look back at that slightly later on once the field gets itself sorted out. But I'm curious how one crashes under safety car, well, in the Le Mans chicane.
Well, I'll call it not optimal. Let's put it that way. Love 46 has not had the greatest start to the race, but thankfully there is enough time to make amends for that. I'm just guessing trying to catch up time, and when you're under unsafety car conditions, you kind of are a bit more liberal, a bit like in practice, and so just a line error can lead to devastating consequences. So let's have a look here. So, lost it on entry. So... Oh, that's a big hit as well. Look at all of that bodywork, and the rear axle is completely locked as well, so that's going to be a tow to pit lane. The engine also is a little bit smoky.
Yeah, I think engine well and truly seized there, and Lithium Fox still 9th overall in terms of class. I think they were a lap down at point, but maybe trying to make their way back up, and I think they have managed to do so successfully. The Corvette is a difficult beast to master, isn't it? It's unstable at the best of times in real-world racing, but once you master it, you really get a feel of how much power you have under your feet.
Yeah, it's really fast. It's a really quick car. The problem is mid-engined, and also, you know, it's a very stiff setup, so that applies to any GT3 car, to be fair, but I think the real problem there was probably just adjusting brake bars or trying something different into the chicane to gain speed. And the problem is if you have your brake bars too much toward the rear, you lock the rear, and then you're going over the curb as well. So it just means that you have no chance to recover it. So I think just very unfortunate, but from what I can see, it's a rear lockup, and that just creates the entire incident.
Absolutely, and we have got the unsafety car still just proceeding around, making sure everybody is lined up, and what a parade of cars that we see here at Daytona. It's beautiful to see. We've got the headlights from the unsafety car, and then no headlights from a considerable while back as someone pulls off slightly further back, and then of course the headlights re-emerge for the GT3s and the GR86s as well. In respect to one another, I believe this might be Lithium Fox, who's over-expelled themselves a little bit as they got past the unsafety car. They now technically lead the class, but they will have to almost certain stop and let the field back through, which is unfortunate for them.
At least they've realised, because we have had times, at least last season, where people have lapped everyone by at least one lap, especially in the special events with the short track ovals. So, yeah, Lithium Fox will just have to wait. They're looking in their mirror, just trying to figure everything out. But we may be able to get back underway. Oh, no, Lithium Fox is just baiting the unsafety car at this point. The Riley wants to go racing, and so does Lithium Fox.
I think this might be setting up for a grandest of last laps. If the unsafety car has ever targeted a car, the Corvette could most certainly be on the chopping block at the moment. I think someone needs to get word to their engineer. Maybe the radio is not quite working in the Fox's car, but at the moment they do stand in P1 in class at the moment. Just to run through of how the IndyCar class lines up at the moment. It's Alex Gillen from Rydell 83, Reska Kioso in 3rd, with Hayden Gullis in 4th, Solstice in 5th, Lamp 6th, with Brendan Hyperstar and Love 46 making up the top 8. And then the GT3 category, Lithium Fox, albeit holding the top spot at the moment, but not for much longer, with Josh Merrin Sparks in what will be 2nd place. Chesnoid Gaming is Des TV, Ancephalosis, Smileable, and NL Stroopwaffle as the top 8 in that field.
We have some cars in the pits. That's Brendan Hyperstar and Love 46. Once again, I think just because they were at the back of the pack, they're going for some more fuel. There is Lithium Fox finally giving way to position there. So they should rejoin just at the back of the GT3 field. And yeah, I think this is just the same strategy that we saw last week toward the end of the race. Taking on more fuel, give themselves more race strategies toward the end of the race, and a little bit of an advantage. They're on the harder compound tyre as well. No red wall on that tyre, so they might have to get it up to temperature as well, which Stroopwaffle nearly rejoining. Well, it's for pit exit, to be fair, to give way, so Stroopwaffle wasn't in the wrong there, but that could have been disastrous.
Certainly could have looked like that, but of course, as you said, the prime opportunity to go get some more fuel as the Lamborghini just pulls into the path of the IndyCar as they try to get themselves onto the back of the pack. And we have been informed by race control, safety car will be in this lap, which means Alex Gillen takes control of the IndyCar field. We say goodbye to the Riley Daytona prototype, at least for the time being. I'm almost certain we will see another outing and another appearance of the unsafety car, which I must say has done such a fruitful job over the course of the season so far, and will continue to do so until the end of the season.
It has done indeed. It's been incident-packed, but the one thing you can rest assured is that the unsafety car will be on track at all times, causing chaos or not. I think we might see another chaotic ending to the unsafety car, but let's find out. Alex Gillen at the front as well, Ryan right behind with Reska Kioso and Hayden Gullis completing the top 4 there. You've got Solstice P5 at the moment, Lamp P6, and then Brendan Hyperstar and Love 46 in the IndyCar field. So they're going to hope to get a clean restart, but I'm sure Ryan will be wanting to attack Alex Gillen.
It's interesting to note, of course, we've got 2 drivers in the top 3 that are rather experienced in the IndyCar field, those being Hayden Gullis and Ryan L83. Alex Gillen has dipped his toe in them, taking part in the Creator Series Indy 500 that happened a few months ago now. So you see the Riley Daytona just making an interesting approach towards pit road, and I'm assuming trying to hit pit road and not the rule. Oh, no, there we go. Front right tyre being absolutely ripped off of the unsafety car. So by name and by nature, just doing its job.
Yeah, the safety netting definitely doing the job there. I think they tried to clear it, but it certainly didn't work. And look at that lead that Alex Gillen's got. I think he's gone early, and that means Ryan has been caught out. Reska Kioso trying to go around the outside. Hayden Gullis trying to go up the inside. All of them using the overtake at the start. It's going to be a 3-way drag race with Hayden on the inside, who's overtaken Reska Kioso. Ryan getting absolutely pushed to the outside. Ryan's lost 2 places here. Solstice wanting in on the action as well. Ryan round the outside. Reska Kioso will defend it. Hayden has got that P2, but it's still a 2-way battle into turn 2 and then into turn 3. Oh, Ryan's around. Reska Kioso has collected Ryan. Ryan facing the wrong way. Can he get it spun round? It looks like it. What a dramatic start.
That's certainly not the way he'd like to see this race going. I think we've got a couple of other cars going slowly as well as they made their way through the opening to the International Horseshoe, the GT3 field. Again, just having issues, and down drops the Audi car. Oh, massive head-on collision with Chesnoid Gaming there. And that is going to be a considerable repair bill for the McLaren outfit and under Chesnoid's racing team. But as it stands, everybody just having to get used to cold tyres again. You can see the limited downforce that Audi's going to be suffering with, and not
It's got broken suspension.
Yeah, not even able to get the car turned in.
Yeah, you can see that, sorry to interrupt, but you can see that front right is just completely down on the bodywork. No, oh, that is a spin there for the Porsche. Incredible stuff, and I can't believe they've dropped it there, just trying to get a good restart. But yeah, those not up to temperature tires are not helping this grid at the moment, are they?
They're not at all. We see, I think there's carnage as well in the GR86 field. 2 cars off in the background and shot just a couple of moments ago here as we watch on board. I believe this is Carl McGuinness trying to chase down Clarkey up at the front, but Alex Gillen trying to defend from Hayden Gullis through the long left-hander and in towards what will be the opening corner. The left-hander will come their way. Alex Gillen has the inside line. Hayden Gullis just playing the smart game at the moment, knowing it's not necessarily won on an opening lap from a safety car restart. Does claim the fastest lap at the same time, though. You can see further behind, Lamp and Solstice being joined at the hip practically with Brendan Hyperstar not far behind after being involved in that earlier incident. Managed to recover his way up into 5th place, but Lamp just trying to still shine a light on his abilities as he makes his way currently stood in a podium position.
Yeah, it's certainly very, very good as we've got battling as well toward the front of the pack here. Ancephalosis defending P2, Stroopwafel P3 at the moment. But Joshima's, after that disastrous start of the race, has certainly turned up the pace at the moment. That Acura working quite well. Oh, Stroopwafel all around. I think there might have been a little bit of tag or maybe on the curb there. Not a huge amount of contact, but it can happen. The Ford Mustang not facing the right way. They've rejoined correctly, but that's an easy overtake for Joshima's. Chesnoid still not pitting with that damage, hoping for an unsafety car, but that's going to be super understeery, and Estes TV is just trying to find a way past at the moment. I think they have a little bit of damage as well. Well, they were just about to collect a little bit more damage there, breaking themselves into the second horseshoe. Meanwhile, at the front, Alex Gillen and Hayden Gullis going at it again. Hayden using overtake there. You can see that by the arrows on the timing tower, just indicating they're using a little bit of extra power, and they've only got 200 seconds of it, so they're going to have to use it sparingly, but that is Hayden Gullis into the lead.
Yeah, 200 seconds, just over 3 minutes worth of push to pass. They will have available in those IndyCar. Solstice down the inside of the Lamp as well, just behind these two. Hayden Gullis now into the lead of the IndyCar field. Alex Gillen will have to settle for second. Brendan Hyperstar getting the better of Lamp as well, as does Love 46. Now, wonder if Lamp has indeed had an issue through that opening corner. Is there any damage to report on that IndyCar? Doesn't look like it at the moment, but it's certainly a knock to the confidence will be the opening dialogue that he will be having with his race crew. And we have noted that Solstice started, or at least pitted onto, a set of the soft compound tyre to restart this race from the safety car, and that is what's going to be helping him. But we've heard some early indications those tyres probably could only go about 5 or so laps, and there we go, considerable damage, or at least for a few seconds to Lamp's car. Just a little tap to the rear of Solstice and the ultra pink hypercar IndyCar.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Just closing speed and different lines into the corner. You can see Ryan having huge damage there as well. So it's just unfortunate, I think. Unfortunate timing. It happens, and you've just got to be more careful into turn one. A lot of these corners at Daytona are a bit like that. They're very wide, and you can either take a very tight line into the corner to try and get some overtakes, as we've got the GR86s here. Once again, Clark leading from Ben Turda, and Carl McGuinness, a top 3 there that has broken away and using basically just bump drafting to get away from the top 5 there, cars 4 and 5 in the distance. You can see them, and they are going to do this lap after lap just to create a little bit of a gap, but going 3 wide into turn 1 is not going to help the IndyCars. That is Brendan Hyperstar and Solstice that have got absolutely bogged down behind them, and so they're going to have to give way. But that is the nature of multi-class racing. They don't have to get out of the way. They're all in their own private battles.
Absolutely right, and a fantastic battle we are seeing in the GR86s at the moment. And as you mentioned, the bump drafting, and I think this will be incredibly more key as we head 2 rounds into the future to Talladega Superspeedway, and when we head to that oval where we are going to see such a pace difference between the Indies, the GT3s and the GR86s, but especially in the GTs and the GRs, we are going to have to see that bump drafting come into effect. The IndyCars, not necessarily so much. We'll see a lot of slipstream. The cars that can race wheel to wheel and probably bumper to bumper, we'll see a lot of that bump drafting, I reckon, happening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd love to see it happen in IndyCar. That would be a spectacle to watch. But I think this is just like a warm-up. I mean, Daytona's a great race no matter what, but the warm-up for the oval racing is going to be something else. And that, I think you'll find, is Solstice getting dropped down by Lamp there. They're battling over P7 at the moment, but definitely Solstice will have that little bit of an advantage as we get a replay here. Sparks, and that's Brendan Hyperstar. So what happened to Solstice here? Let us see. Oh, just spinning a little bit, trying to get the power down. Maybe those softer compound tires overheating, because I didn't really see anything wrong there with that line.
No, I didn't either. And I think something's also happened to Storm Molina in the 007 car. They towed to pits not too long ago. We do see a replay here. This is the GR86 field, I'm assuming from the safety car restart, going to abreast, and yeah, just side-by-side contact, and oh my goodness, a car park being formed in the infield.
I didn't realise this was a demolition derby. There you go. You got a different form of racing right there. And that is Lamp round. So Lamp has spun at what looks like turn 1. So I'm guessing there might have been a bit of contact there, or something has happened, because that's not the first time that they have spun right there. Let's see if we can... Oh, yeah. Solstice collecting. So it's the other way round this time. And once again, it's Lamp that comes off worse.
I think they're going blow for blow at the moment, and we're getting some team radios through from the drivers. A lot of them complaining of serious lack of top-end speed, especially in the GT3 category, I believe that to be. So interested to note how they're all kind of dealing with it. The IndyCar's so naturally set up to be going fast and in just a circle, whereas the GT3s, traditionally not so much, I'd say, John.
Yeah, they all have their specifics, don't they? I mean, they will be, or they will have a setup or some sort of configuration for these faster races. I mean, they race at tracks like Le Mans, for example, the Circuit of the Sarthe. So they can have very high gear ratios, but it can come down just to individual setups or specifics about the car. Maybe sometimes you've got a gear ratio that's 5 kilometers per hour less, and that just makes a huge difference around this banking. And when you've got that deficit of top speed, for sure, it's very difficult. Alex Gillen in the pits, so I think the only driver that didn't pit behind the unsafety car now is making amends for that as Hayden Gullis takes the lead of the race. Just want to point out, Ryan L83 is in P4 with a broken front wing and not losing too much time, so he's just keeping himself in this fight at the moment. I think using Reska Kyoso as a little bit of a marker for what he can do on this lap.
Yeah, I was going to mention it if you weren't going to, and we saw that on the off-board shots just a few moments ago, and Ryan L83 just suffering with a considerable amount of front wing damage. I think we are going to get a replay of what might have happened. Oh, this is back to live imagery. We do see here just on the on board, I believe, with Lamp just behind him is Solstice. Both of those been in the wars in the last few laps. But as you're saying, Ryan L83 doing incredibly well to manage that car at the moment with the damage that he has. And just going back as well to the Lamborghini and the top-end speed that Des was really struggling with, I think that might be just a factor of the naturally aspirated engine that the Lamborghini has compared to the turbochargers that the rest of the field majoritively have compared to it.
Can make a difference. Lithium Fox here on the attack. So from last place to challenging for third place to challenging from second place, surely not round the outside. Ancephalus is doing the correct thing in defending it. Looks like Joshua's very late on the brakes, managed to get it stopped, but that was an incredible line. Just giving Ancephalus a little bit of a tap, saying, please, can you get a move on? Lithium Fox is hounding me at the moment, quite literally. Look at that, lights turned off even on that Corvette, and that's a daunting thing to have in the rear view mirror. So these three are absolutely just, well, racing the doors off of all of their cars. I think going back to that, just thinking about Isdes TV with the Lamborghini, yes, you're right about the engine, but I also think there was some contact made as a whoa, that was Love 46 nearly losing the front wing there. That is really just telling. Reska Kyoso drifting as well through the international horseshoe. I can't stop commentating. There's just too much to say.
There is so much going on at the moment. A replay on board with Ryan here. This is bravery at its absolute finest. You see the GR86 and they're just trying to squeeze past. And Love 46 didn't necessarily have the same thought, the same commitment. But Ryan doing an outstanding move to find his way into fourth place. Now well and truly on the back of Reska Kyoso, who is in third in their own right. But you can see the understeer that his IndyCar is suffering as he heads through the left-hander on towards the oval banking and down towards the Le Mans chicane. it's an interesting battle at the moment for him because he'll want to have that unsafety car to come out and get essentially a free pit stop if they catch back up with Des TV. The GR86 is still in this sort of NASCAR configuration that we've seen over the course of the race so far, just wanting to get that slipstream, the bump draft, and as much just power forward as they can possibly have, and just continuing to be lapped by the IndyCars. Brendan Hyperstar just coming around the outside this time. Thankfully, no GR86 is willing to move into his line.
Yeah, Ben Serda has caught this three-pack of cars at the front, so they're still bunk drafting. Clark in first place. Carl McGillis just very happy saving fuel behind or just giving a helping hand. But it's interesting how Ben Serda has found the pace. That Stroopwafel up the inside, that might break up the pack. This might be where Clark decides, right, I need to actually get a move on here and try and create a gap. It's so many opportunities. Oh my days, the Indy cars, that is incredible. Raska Kyoto just creating the gap, and Ryan saying, I'm going for that one as well. It reminds me, as Stroopwafel gets in the way as well, they're allowed to get in the way. They don't have to get out of the way. And Love 46 just not confident, although two wheels on the grass, maybe they are very confident at the end of the day. Chesnoid going on the grass, that front downforce not helping him right now, just diving late into the corners. But yeah, Clark nearly got wiped out 3 times there. As you can see in the background, still Kyle McGuinness, Mia Rose, and Ben Serda still line astern, but they'll have to work together now to catch Clark. I think for Ryan, it's going to be a case of Felipe Massa, Barcelona 2010, where Felipe Massa broke his front wing and then ended up going faster.
I think that is the situation that he's finding at the moment, because of course he'll have less downforce on the oval banking where you want to have that ultimate top line speed. We see the Lamborghini again just having to be passed by one of the Indy cars, does so successfully this time around, and he'll suffer a little bit in the infield, and we always know he's going to suffer on the infield, but when he has that extra straight line speed, that could pay dividends time and time again. Solstice, will he get the move done in towards turn 1? He does nice and smoothly, and that is going to be a pass on the GR86. Sorry, that's through the Le Mans chicane, wrong part of the circuit that I'm looking at here. We have some more carnage within the GT3s. This is from race start, 16 or so laps ago. Chesnoid Gaming going very hot, but even more hot is Ancephalosis, using, I can only describe Des as a brake in towards that corner. And there's the massive shunt.
Yeah, so Sparks was a separate incident. Des TV nearly getting caught up in 2 separate... I mean, that was like literally, I will say, a demolition derby move. Like, using someone else to turn. I've only seen this in Burnout, but apparently it works also. Wow, incredible. I mean, that is just... And then I think Chesnoid's just reacting to what he saw and going, what have I just witnessed, and just drove straight into Sparks, not looking in front of him. I relate to that, because if I'd just nearly been wiped out a billion miles per hour, I'd probably need a few minutes to compose myself as well.
I'd laugh if there's a clip of Chesnoid celebrating that he's managed to avoid that initial incident. And then the shock and moment of realization when he realizes that Sparks is parked in front of him at a moment's notice. But interesting to try and figure out here, John. Obviously, he's got minimal front wing, we'll put it nicely. In the plus side of that, he's got most of his front end of the car removed. I wonder how much that's cooling the brakes through the tricky midfield section. Because he'll have so much more airflow going through that centre of the car, especially on the front end. I wonder if that's kind of helping him.
I don't think that's how it's worked in circuit racing, at least since the 60s. Whoa, Clark, I think that was Clark going to the outside now. Different driver, but that was nearly a huge collision as well. Brendan Hyperstar, just, you can see via the brakes now that you can brake so much later with these Indy cars with the downforce. It just emphasizes how difficult it is to predict where a slower car class is going to be mid-corner, and that's why you're seeing all of these incidents. But yeah, I mean, if you can take anything from Chesnoid's damage, yes, maybe it cools the brakes. I don't think he'll be too worried about that. I think he might be focusing on the fact that the car doesn't really want to turn anymore.
We've had Pro Hunters in the iRacing Twitch chat saying, why isn't 86 with the Dallara? Because, welcome to the Creator Series. This is Multiclass Madness for Season 3 of our iRacing adventures. We've got IndyCars, GT3s, and GR86s all on the same field, all on the same piece of tarmac, and we're having fun with it, because this has been quite possibly one of the best seasons of racing I've had the opportunity of seeing and commentating in a very long time.
Well, We're having fun as commentators. I think the
Well.
drivers are petrified right now on track. I mean, it's looking more like a bowling alley as that is a Stroopwafel nearly getting collected there by Smilerbull. A lot of drivers... Oh, and a huge snap of oversteer in the backgrounds there around, I think that was turn 5, so very, very well recovered. I think he's been in the pits because he's got a new front wing, but nearly losing it there on the outlap. And wow, this... I mean, the multi-class action, I thought it was going to be chaos pre-season. It's been confirmed in the first half of the season that it's chaos. This is taking it to another level.
And don't forget, we've still got a considerable number of rounds still to come. We saw the calendar slightly earlier on in the stream. If you missed that, just a quick rundown of where we head to in the next few weeks. We head to Sebring for round 7 in 2 weeks' time, and then in 3 weeks, we head to Talladega Oval, which I guarantee you will not want to miss for round 8. We then head to Miami Autodrome. The first time that's made an appearance here in the iRacing Creator Series, before on the Saturday following, we head for our Long Beach Endurance under IMSA conditions, so not the cars you're seeing here at the moment, before round 10 that finishes off the season. Monza Historic with the chicanes this time around. We've proved it can be carnage and chaos without them. I'm sure adding in a few more braking zones isn't going to cause any more carnage. Right, John?
Yeah, sure. We'll say it that way. You'll have to tune in to find out, I guess. I'm sure it will be even more carnage because if we've learned one thing is that the mid corners where you're not accelerating or braking, everybody can do those. It's when you have to accelerate and or brake that it becomes a problem. So, for example, Monza with the banking is going to be absolute chaos, as we found out last time we went to Monza historic track. But I think, you know, the premise of the Creator Series this season of just having fun. I think a lot of people get caught up in the seriousness all the time of sim racing, and sometimes having a bit of a chill out event like this is just what everybody needs, both in terms of viewing and indeed for our drivers out on track. As once again, we've got a what I can describe as a trolley train of GR86s.
I can't wait for Talladega, because this is exactly what we're going to see with the GR86s. It'll be just one big pack of Toyotas that is going to be essentially a moving roadblock for everybody that's trying to get past them, which will be an interesting one to try and note. We've had more information coming from our spotters down on the ground. We're being told Solstice, and just to add some clarity to this, who is an IndyCar, who was bump drafting Lithium Fox, who's in a GT3. I'm not sure how the physics works of that, but somehow they've made it work.
Ah, that might be how Lithium Fox got back up to the... that's Storm Molina on track. So Storm Molina is back out on track after 3 laps. So I'm guessing some sort of hardware issue right there. Maybe pedals or a wheel problem whatsoever. Because normally after about 3 laps, you'd say, well, whatever's happened, I'll call it quits. But I'm glad to see they're back out on track. And it looks like they're turning a fast amount of pace, trying to carve through these GR86s. But they're making it difficult, aren't they?
They certainly are. They're not going to make it easy for them because, of course, they're in their own race. And whilst we have the creator standings that we showed you earlier, the community entries have their own independent race to try and come up with and score points with for their respective communities. And I'll tell you what, it's probably one of the most competitive that we've seen. An incredible dive from one of the IndyCars, trying to get the better of Ancephalosis, and as well getting past Josh Chambers in the Acura, and does manage to get the car slowed down. But there is going to be a few heart-in-mouth moments here as those IndyCars just fly up to the rears of the GT3s. It's just heart-stopping.
It is indeed, and I think what we're seeing is, less with the GT3s, but definitely with the GR86s, is that they're using the overtakes from faster cars as an opportunity to get a move done on a car of their own class. So when everybody's braking in a different spot, or the pack breaks up from the bump drafting or slipstreaming that they're doing right there, especially on the infield, it's an opportunity to gain that place. And then it's so difficult to gain the place back because you know you'll get past with bump drafting anyway. So I think Clark, in multiple occasions, although he's remained at the front, he's tried to use the opportunity to get away, and it just hasn't worked. They've remained within that 2-second window where slipstream is just powerful enough to get you back up to or to get the chasing cars, I should say, back up to his race-leading pace. And it just means a constant yo-yo effect at the moment as we're seeing more pit stops come in. So Hayden Gullis still leads this race. Brendan Hyperstar has dropped back a little bit to the tune of 2 seconds. That might just be a pit stop phase right now. But yeah, I mean, Hayden has had a huge turn of pace this race.
He has, and he knows the IndyCars inside and out, has done many runs with them. And a little bit of a slide there from Brendan. It looks like, I think that's one of the GT3s in front. I can't tell if they're going slow or just slow comparatively to the IndyCars. It's sometimes hard to figure out, but that was Chesnoid Gaming, who was just having a bit of a moment on the inside of the banking. Here we ride on board with Josh Summers in the beautiful orange and black Acura. Who's that in the background? That's a GR86 who's missing a front left wheel.
I think that's a soy. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, definitely there's a wheel missing. Let's see and have a look here. So it's Clark. No, it's the race leader, apparently, what we're seeing. So what's happened here?
IndyCar is going to be...
Big IndyCar. Yeah, massive IndyCar. That's, yeah, I'm not even sure. Was that, hang on, was that was that Brendan Hyperstar? I'm not quite sure.
It was Lamp,
but Lamp, I'm being told Lamp, yes, indeed. So it's very difficult to see the differences in colours with the IndyCars. They've all gone with the same amount of livery, but it looks like Lamp's got away with it, scot-free.
Well, scot-free indeed, and I think he will have the opportunity to catch back up to the pack. The unsafety car makes its second appearance out on towards the circuit. I think this is going to be his point of view from the incident, if memory serves me correctly, and he's running up towards the international water. Yeah. You see those 4 GR86s just in front, and you know something bad's going to happen. But I don't think he was expecting the lead car just to swerve as violently left as they did here. I'm not quite sure what they were going for. They're just trying to turn into the corner.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's just a little bit of like a millimeter tap. And you know, when you're turning into a corner, all it takes is a millimeter on your front steering rack, and that's it. It's smashed. And I think that's what's happened, is just the suspension there has got broken. Thankfully, they've got it back to the pits, but very unfortunate. They were leading the race comfortably, and it's just happened. Joshua's going for a spin as well, taps the barrier, and it looks like a little bit of damage. Now, the problem is actually the rejoin. Oh, their wheel is broken, actually. I don't think that wheel is spinning on the other side, so yeah, terrible. And a lot of incidents happening mid-race.
Yeah, meatball flag and a tow there for Josh Summers, making his way back to pit road by assistance of the marshals, as we do see the purple short Corvette of Lithium Fox just jumping encephalosis on pit exit there. Of course, completely illegal to do if you can find the room in pit road, and thankfully does make the move stick and just promotes themselves. Well, I say promotes themselves, just manages to jump themselves up and around, as we do see the other unsafety car out on circuit as well. This time an orange-coloured one, just to make a little distinction from the first.
Well, at least they're painted with high visibility colours to deem that they are indeed unsafe. The Riley, again, taking to the track just to pick up the front of the field. Opportunistic overtake in the pit lane there in the GT3s. So, you've got to give credit for that. And I think Lithium Fox is unsure whether they're meant to pass or not. I think they are meant to stay behind right now, so that's what they're doing. Yep, indeed. There we go. You see them lining up, and so are the GR86s as well. So we're just waiting for the IndyCar leaders to come round and rejoin the safety car queue. So that means looking at the race laps there that we have, it's done on laps, not a timer apparently today. So it's looking like they will be very marginal perhaps on fuel at the end of the race. So we'll have to wait and see.
You're absolutely right. And if you're new, again, just to run you through safety car procedure and how it all works here in the Creator Series, the unsafety car picks up the lead GR86, being the slowest class out there on circuit. This then allows the GT3s and the Indy cars to respectively catch up the field, and the idea being they slot in front of the GR86s in their respective positions. It just means it's a little bit of a quicker process for everyone to get back into that train, get back into proper order. And of course, it's easier that way than essentially catching the lead IndyCar and waiting for GR86s to make their way around the circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say, can the GR86s catch the Riley? I'm not quite sure. I think it's a little bit biased, and this might be an interesting one of not having any collisions here. The IndyCar is going for overtakes to just rejoin the front of the order, but through the Le Mans chicane. And there's not a tremendous amount of space at the best of times in that chicane there, but it looks like everybody's made it through. It does mean that the order's jumbled up a little bit. Love 46 jumps up to P2, Reska Kyoso and Ryan L83 back up to P3 and P4. Reska Kyoso and Ryan L83 have had the best pace at the moment on average, but Hayden Gullis can definitely hold it to them as well. Brendan Hyperstar struggling a little bit at the moment, and definitely Alex Ginnan and Lamp have had their fair share of incidents, although I think Alex was just the fact that he was on a different pit strategy. Meanwhile, in the GT3 class, Lithium Fox jumps up to first place with Ancephalosis getting overtaken in the pit lane as the race director makes the screen disappear, so I've got to read telemetry. Sparks P3 at the moment, although Ancephalosis going into the pit lane here, so that's all got jumbled up apparently.
So what's interesting to try and figure out here, we have approximately 22 laps of racing to go. These Indy cars, and we know this, they can do 17-ish laps on a tank of fuel, depending on how high you want to run these cars. So, whether they manage their fuel, but they will definitely have to do at least one more pit stop after this unsafety car makes its way in towards pit road. And we are being told from race control that the unsafety car will be in at the end of this lap. The entire field is bunched up enough to the race director's discretion, and they will be ready to go racing. On to lap 25 with just 21 laps to go.
I don't think they'll be able to make it to the end. It's very, very marginal looking at that. So, I mean, maybe if they lift and coast, but they found out last week that lifting and coasting just lost you too much race time, basically. Maybe Ferrari should remember that in Formula 1 sometimes. But it's just not possible around Daytona. Such high speed that you just lose so much. You're better off coming into the pits, I think. But yeah, this unsafety car really, really unfortunate for the Indy cars. I might get a few words from some sources that maybe it was on purpose, question mark.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, and of course we wait to see how it all pans out. I'm sure the unsafety car will probably end up in a barrier somewhere in the next few moments.
We'll have to wait and see. Still holding, at least for the time being, but you know, the unsafety car can decide to go whenever, because there's no safety procedure in this. Safety reasonings and documentation have been thrown out of the window, as have all of the safety of multi-class racing, apparently, which means it's time to grab another box of popcorn, because I've run out in the comms box. So yes, time to go racing shortly.
I think the second unsafety car has figured out a way to get their car going again, so I think we are about to see something. As one of the Indy cars is slightly further back, just trying to figure out where exactly they want to be on the circuit. And we watch here on board with unsafety car number 1, who's right onto the back of the pack. And I don't like this, John, as he's going to try to come storming through. Everybody's got to watch out, because this is Daytona prototype sneaking through the inside. Oh my goodness, everybody not necessarily expecting to see the car there. And there's going to be a couple of heart-in-mouth moments for some of the drivers, surely.
Well, Des TV was complaining about lack of straight line speed. He nearly got a ton of it involuntarily there, because he nearly swerved into the path of the Riley. And I think we're going to go for a tag team crash there. Loop-de-loop, and indeed, Demolition Derby has been taken to the next level.
Absolutely fantastic. Massive, massive shout out to the guys that run the unsafety car. They are worth their weight in gold, as we have got, I believe, a car trying to make their way around the outside. That's going to be Storm Molina in the 007, just making sure they can at least unlap themselves to the best of their ability. But Hayden Gullis will lead this restart. The track is declared green, so it is now at the discretion of our IndyCar leader as to when he wants to try and launch. Down towards the first corner, and he will have Reska Kyoso and Ryan L83 for chase as well. Down towards turn 1 they go. Green flag flies at the start of lap 25.
Ryan's got caught out completely by that. I mean, he's lost 10 car lengths, and Brendan Hyperstar up the inside, but he won't think about it. Alex Gillen going for a move, though, in the background on Solstice. Gets the move done as well. A little bit deep into the apex, but everything okay. Des TV around the outside. I think, a little bit rattled. That's Ancephalosis, and I think they might have damage on that car. It doesn't look like it's going flat, so let's see. We've got, Des TV off, spun round. Not exactly sure. Didn't see what happened there, but some sort of contact has been made, probably. I can't presume that's the curb once again. It could be, though.
Nobody needs straight line speed if you're not facing the right way.
Oh, he rejoins.
Somehow he's ended up in the right portion of the circuit. I wouldn't be surprised if the game does give him a slowdown considerably. For that one, a little bit of a dive attempted just further back, as we saw, but the GR86s, once again, back in their pack, trying to chase their way down towards this opening section of corners. The BMW of, I believe that's going to be, who is in the BMW? But it's someone I keep forgetting. It's Josh Merrin, my apologies, as he's trying to figure his way out with Smileable, just making the pass.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of chaos here. I think Des TV taking the rallycross track configuration there of Daytona. I know that one quite well. So not the fastest of pace in the GT3 car, that's for sure. But yeah, definitely, I think there's just a lot of people just trying to gain positions. Josh Merrin hasn't really featured in the GT3s like he did in the IndyCars. Maybe just taking some time to get up to pace, but it's certainly coming to him now as we have an overtake for the lead as well. Possibly Reska Kyoso trying to go around the outside. But also Brendan Hyperstar challenging Reska Kyoso, not being able to do it, but Brendan Hyperstar will go around the outside of Ryan. It looks like Ryan's just got enough pace to slam the door shut. Yes, he does. He sets the fastest lap of the race so far as well. So it's just confirming that at the front of this IndyCar pack, there are so many people on the pace this time out. I have no idea who's going to win this. Look at that, all the way down to Alex Gillen is on race pace at the moment.
Certainly so. We still see Reska Kyoso trying to get the better of Hayden Gullis through every single part of this international horseshoe and just trying to spot the weaknesses in Gullis's game in the moment, and that is where they'll be able to maybe make the moves work in towards the oval section. Again, Gullis goes deep. This could be the opportunity for Kyoso to go down the inside. Does so, and Gullis under pressure, well, falling before it even became a factor.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe running onto the grass on the entry, but I doubt that one, really. I think just, as you say, pressure. And this means that also Hayden Gullis may be able to challenge into the bus stop chicane. Ryan thinking about it as well. But I think it's just the case of possibly tyre temperatures. Ryan having a disastrous exit. Lost about 5 car lengths there. Where's Brendan Hyperstar? Nowhere to be seen at the moment. But yeah, these two at the front. Reska Kyoso is going to be re-overtaken by Hayden Gullis. Using that overtake, saying, I am in the lead of this race. I am the main character at the moment. I'm retaking the race lead no matter what.
I'm intrigued to note here, John, Reska Kyoso has only used 5 seconds of their possible 200 of push to pass available to them in that car at the moment, and they do see the GR86 just ahead of them. They are going to have to split the difference. Hayden Gullis goes to the left on towards the grass. Ryan L83 gets the move done, and Brendan Hyperstar as well gets an easy pass, as does Lamp, and Gullis's day, I think, can only be described as going from bad to worse here. But this is what the GR86s are here for, and it's just causing a little bit of carnage. Hayden had nowhere to go, no forethought into that.
Oh, and the grass on the tyres as well. He did well to save that, to be fair. He's out in front of Alex Gillen, which I'm sure Alex will be very happy about as well. But yeah, Reese in the GR86 didn't really do anything wrong. You know, they just held their line. I think just Hayden had no choice but to try and go around the outside or lose all of those positions anyway. Luckily for them, it didn't end in the wall. And Cephalosis here going very slow. What's happened there? Sparks around the outside. You've got Stroop Waffle trying to get through the inside, so doing the reverse maneuver. Sparked wide, and Cephalosis defends it, so I'm not sure what caused that at the start there with Cephalosis going slow, but it's worked itself out. Chesnoid and Joshima's also there for P5 as far as I can tell, just battling, and it looks like, I think Chesnoid has got the move done. Yes, there you go, Chesnoid and the McLaren. Oh. That's Hayden Gullis in the wall, and indeed missing the front wing on the exit of the Le Mans chicane, over the curb and into the very ouchie, and that's going to be a tow to the pits, I think.
Yeah, I think we have got unsafety car out, at least
carrying on
in the pits. He's going to try and drag that car as best as he possibly can. Alex Gillen will be very thankful for the extra position that he's gained. And there we go, yeah, unsafety car. Unsurprisingly, making an emergence from pit road after having their own mechanics work on that car after the collision that we saw slightly earlier on. Quite a few drivers taking the opportunity to dive into pit road. Fuel up now for what will almost certainly be the last time in this race. They can go for just about 17 or so laps, maybe a little bit longer than that, but without a doubt will be making it to the end of the race if they choose to pit, that is.
Well, I'm not going to call it again, but Alex Gillen again has stayed out and will have to lift and coast to get to the end of the race. I haven't seen this one before at all. Definitely don't look at the race replay of 7 days ago where he ran out of fuel. No. So 17 laps, that's about, well, now in the pit stops, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, I don't have a good feeling about this for the front two, but they obviously know something that I don't.
Maybe they feel that the safety car mode, or the mode 8 as it's called in the IndyCars, will give them just enough fuel to make it until the end too. We get a replay from the restart and what happened to Des in its entirety. He's just clipped the rear of the Mustang car, and he's gone spinning around Stroopwafel. I think just giving him as much as we possibly could. It's just unfortunate.
It just rejoins. Here we go, shortcut, across the grass, nearly up to racing speed. And if he would have put both wheels on the tarmac instead of grass, I think he could have rejoined in front of Ancephalosys in P3. But that's how to gain positions, to be fair. That's a neat way of doing it. I'm not sure Race Control will like that too much, but here in the Creator Series, I say that's a valid line.
I'd say that's absolutely fair and valid, and we got another move here. I think this is Des trying a very similar thing on Ancephalosys around the outside. The rear end just stepping out on that one. And does he keep out of the wall? No, there goes the rear wing on that Lamborghini. And an incredible amount of downforce lost for the Italian outfit.
Good news, though. Extra straight line speed.
Yes. Although he has appeared to found a second one in the garage. The mechanics are being told have made that out of cardboard and paper mache. But it will work.
I didn't realise this was Group B from the 1980s. There we go. Well, Lancia have apparently joined up with Lamborghini in making rear wings. There you go. New fact for the Creator Series right there as the Riley picks up the field once again. Clark, I think, has made his way back into P1. So after all of that, after getting absolutely T-boned out of the race lead, he's now back up to the race lead of the GR86s. That's how fast it can change. But for sure, those GR86s, they're swapping positions all the time because Kyle McGillis still in P2, Flyers in P3, with, I think, Mia Rose behind that as well. So it's all just swapping around, and I think that's going to be the battle to the last straight, to be fair, where we might see a 4 wide or something.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think this GR86 battle is far from over, we'll put it that way, and they've been seen to perform an incredible amount of bump draft over the oval section of this. Of course, they're not able to do just as much of that as they'd like when it comes to the inner course, as it's more commonly known, or the road section of the Roval. But I think all the cars are just starting to find their feet a little bit more, find some confidence. And of course, it's a shame as we're 2/3 of the way through this race and they've only got 15 or so laps to go. But the final pit stops for the majority are starting to take effect. And John, before we head for the final few laps of this race, let's look ahead in the calendar just a little bit. We head to Sebring next week, obviously an infamous track in America, formed on an old Air Force base as well. So completely different layout to what we see here in Daytona, where it's a really rough and ready circuit for the majority.
Yeah, Sebring very bumpy. It could be described as an entire infield section that could have been on an oval course, but it's just one of those tracks, I think, where it's the complete opposite, where you have to be cautious about the tyres, cautious about your lines through the corners, and arguably the last race on our calendar where it's a lot of technical driving rather than flat out and through fast and flowing corners. There's a lot of corners at Sebring, isn't there, where there's only one line through the corner and you have to get the overtake done before or after. So I think we'll see some desperate moves in that one, but it makes it all more entertaining.
I think we'll see a lot of carnage in Sunset Bend, of course, technically the last corner at Sebring, and actually where pit exit throws you out into that final corner. Really rough and ready on even the most of hypercars at the moment, and your GTPs that run there. How the Indy cars are going to fare with the bumpy surface, who knows? But I'm very much excited to find out and see how they cope with the undulations and the rough and ready nature that Sebring is going to bring us before they head to effectively what is their homestead at Talladega, where the Indy cars are going to be at their finest form in their, I think, their low speed or their low drag layouts. I believe they will have the option to run that minimal rear and front wing that we so traditionally see with the Indy 500 and their oval layouts.
I'd just run a nose scoop on the front just to scoop the GR86s, toss them into the air, and get past that way. I think that's the optimal strategy around an oval. But yeah, just going back to Sebring, I think it's one of those tracks that is so difficult because you've got the changes of surface as everybody diving into the pits there to try and get some more fuel. So I think these drivers are just calculating. They want to be able to just push the accelerator flat out every single lap. Ryan, and that is Love 46. I think Lamp in the pits as well. So just the midfielders pitting right there, which is interesting. But yeah, Sebring, concrete surface, slightly tarmacked as well, dusty surface, with track temperature making a huge difference in all types of conditions there. You can have a very sort of calm day, but the track temperature is too high or too low, and it has a huge effect. So we'll have to wait and see how that one pans out.
Absolutely right. The IndyCar's now peeling out of pit road. They've had the opportunity to get a little bit more fuel than they think they may have needed, but of course, better safe than sorry. If you know, you know. As we watch on board with Lamp, who again continuing to light up the room. He's in 7th place at the moment, and of course 7th overall in class, with Love 46 and Ryan L83 just in front of them. Word from race control: safety car or unsafety car will be in at the end of this lap, and by in we probably mean in the crowds or the catch fencing. We are going to find out, I'm hoping.
So I've heard from the unsafety cars that their ultimate goal is to try and get outside of the track in some way, shape or form. So I think that was what we saw the attempt of with the two cars, just trying to make the barrier no longer a barrier. We'll have to wait and see how they manage it. I mean, our producer typing quite truthfully that we are breaking new ground. No boundaries, no barriers here in the Creator Series.
But you say that, it's not the first time we've technically seen the unsafety car make its way out of track limits. I throw your mind back to, I believe, what's the circuit with the corkscrew?
It is Laguna Seca.
Laguna Seca. I believe the unsafety car managed to make its way outside the extremities of track limits there and disappeared into the ether. As you see, unsafety car 2 just setting itself up there on the banking, trying to place its very ramped-shaped car in the most optimal of positions. We will go racing at the start of lap 32. At the time being, all eyes are surely focused on the unsafety car that is leading through. Alex Gillen restarts from first. Reska Kyoso in second. Brendan Hyperstar in third for the IndyCar lineup. Josh Merrin, Lithium Fox, and I believe Smileable as your top 3 for the GT3s. And Clark, Carl McGuinness, and it's going to be Mia Rose as the top 3 in the GR86s. But here comes the attempt here for the out of the barrier. And it's unsafety car 1 up towards the banking section. They'll meet and see the second unsafety car. It's a long run up towards this banking section. Probably longer than I was anticipating, but up they go. Can they use the ramp? Up and all! Just caught foul by the top of the catch fencing. It's done its job at the end of the day, but the unsafety car continuing its name.
Yeah, a little bit like a long jump one there, and just trying to vault it backwards over the barrier, not quite knocking the bar off of the top there, so it's an invalid run, sadly, but a good attempt, though. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Alex Gillen has gone really early, catching out Brendan Hyperstar. It's always the car in third place that gets caught out. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but there you go. Ryan pushing the push to pass. Solstice getting a good restart, but also I think Lamp just completely dropped there. 1.2 seconds around the outside. Reska Kyoso, here we go again for the lead. So Alex has held it, not even until turn 1, although that's the late breakers. Alex just finding no grip on the inside on those slightly worn tyres. Brendan Hyperstar attacking immediately as well.
Interesting to note that our top 2 have both 189 seconds
Whoa.
and 200 seconds of push to pass respectively. Gillen very deep into the corner, but Brendan Hyperstar makes his way through. He's got just over 2 minutes worth of that allocation to use it. That's Ancephalosis trying to get the better of Lithium Fox, who's on the back of Josh Merrin in his own right, and Smile Bull just behind that Mercedes as the GT3 category starts to heat up once again. The GR86 is now released on towards lap 32 of 45, and it's Mia Rose right on the rear trying to chase down the likes of, I believe that's going to be Carl McGuinness and Clark in P2 and P1 respectively for that community entry class. And the bump drafting in the toe starts to feel. Smiler Ball getting all sorts of out of shape, trying to chase down Ancephalosis as they enter on towards the banking now.
Yeah, Stropoffel has got dropped in P5 there, so that won't help their straight line speed, that's for sure. It's become a 4-car race at the front at the moment. Josh Merrin leading the race now. Lithium Fox, though, really in that Corvette has got the speed. You can see it just closing in, the diffuser, and those tail lights become ever so close. You've got to spot the braking, though, for the Le Mans chicane, and you can see that backing off. Meanwhile, here we go, Brendan Hyperstar, a move on Reska Kyoso around the outside. Alex Gillen has been dropped a little bit here. Ryan L83 still stuck behind Solstice as well, so it's all kicking off. But meanwhile, Reska Kyoso going for the defensive line. Brendan Hyperstar looking for the cutback, but it's not happening, and Alex Gillen is still there to do the switchback. Lamp sets the fastest lap of the race, a 31.8. That is incredible pace. Ryan up the inside on that rubbered in line. You can see it now on the track, and you can see what a difference that makes. 2 car lengths is through, and Lamp is through as well.
Absolutely stunning racing at the moment, and still drivers yet to deploy their push to pass. Alex Gillen has not pushed that pass once, as Ryan L83, I believe, just goes slightly deep there, inviting Solstice to maybe have a bit of a sniff down the inside. Not quite this time around. You see Hayden Gullis and Love 46 just further behind, about a second separating both themselves from the back of this 6th place battle. And further forward, we ride on board with Hayden Gullis. You can see the train that he's wanting to try and catch up to, and that's the lone GT3 as well, just on the exit or the outside of the extremities of the banking. I believe that's going to be the Aston Martin Storm Molina, still not back onto lead lap proper, so they will have to try and navigate as much traffic as they possibly can do. Alex Gillen still just sat with 200 seconds worth of push to pass. When is he going to use it?
Well, I mean, you'd keep it for the end, really. You've still got enough laps where you can just hold that in reserve. Just keep on the pace, really. You know, he's 9/10 of a second behind. It's not too much. Ideally, he wants to be a little bit closer, but with them battling at the front there, I think that's Brendan Hyperstar. It is to the outside once again. A repeat of what happened last time, although Brendan has backed out of it early on this one. Alex storming into that turn 1, nearly onto the grass. That was really aggressive, and I think, ironically, that's actually lost him a little bit of pace there. But realistically, that push to pass, you want to wait until the end. You've got a very long end to the lap on the banking, and you want to be able to deploy that as much as possible in the last few laps to close in and really get those overtakes done. Unless you sense an opportunity, you can use it there, but quite a few people have a lot left in reserve, don't they?
They absolutely do, and you can see just to the right-hand side of everybody's names the exact amount of seconds that they still have in terms of push to pass. They're not applicable to the GT3 category, because we follow on here, Ancephalosis still trying to chase down Lift Fox with Josh Merrin, and Smiler Ball just behind. The stunning Mustang of Stroopwafel is clearly visible in the distance as well, but they're all having a good battle. Des getting caught up alongside the Audi of, I believe, who's that? Is that Joshua's? No, it's not. That's going to be the Audi. Sparks, it is. That's the one I couldn't find on my key for the briefest of moments, but they are just trying to follow in or settle into the order here, because they have got just over 10 laps to go now.
Yeah, it's heating up in GT3. I mean, did it ever cool down, to be fair? That's Josh Merrin challenged by Ancephalosis. In fact, no, Josh Merrin has got passed for P2. That's what that is. And it looks like Lithium Fox is trying to create a little bit of a lead. Oh, Ancephalosis in very, very deep, collecting Josh Merrin, but they've all kept it going in the right direction. That could have gone so badly. Spider-Bull looking as well to get the move. Again, that Porsche and the Corvette looking extremely racy toward the tail end of this race. That's for sure. Ancephalosis, with that damage repaired on the front, might be a dark horse in this race as well, as once again we're seeing that Lamborghini just fall to the wayside in straight line speed, it looks like.
It's certainly being their downfall over the course of this race, hasn't it? They've looked idyllic in the middle section.
Lithium Fox was really slow. Sorry to interrupt you, TK. I think Lithium Fox just messed up the entry to the chicane. They're getting overtaken by Ancephalosis, and Josh Merrin has got past already.
Yeah, they've got the slipstream, though, which could pay them favours towards the first corner. I think you're right, they might have got a bit of a slowdown there, just taking the Le Mans chicanes a little bit too aggressive, but in towards the first corner now. Surely not too wide between Lithium Fox and Ancephalosis. This normally doesn't end well in towards the opening corner. And it's done rather well. Navigated fair but firm between the two, as Ancephalosis does just have to settle for third place at the moment. They've got Smiler Ball for company. And I think Smiler Ball's just happy playing the patient game, just waiting to see what happens, because he knows the lead hasn't been dropped forwards.
Indeed, it's right there. You don't really have to challenge it for it at the moment. It's keeping it clean is the main thing. Interesting that we could see in that corner the International Horseshoe. As wow, Spider-Bull really got really close to encephalosis there. You can see the Mercedes is very strong in the braking phase, and then the Corvette in front as Alex Ginnan enters the pit lane for fuel. The strategy has not worked out. I think he's realised that, and he's pit earlier than anticipated. Well, I don't think he wanted to pit at all, to be fair, but there you go, he's had to, and that has cost him basically a full pit stop at the moment. Ryan at 83 in as well, but that's for a penalty I'm seeing. I'm not exactly sure what that is for, but hopefully we can get an update on that.
Yeah, Ryan 83's been black flagged according to the system, so I wonder what that might have been for. It looks like it might have also disappeared, but in towards the pits to try and serve that and figure out exactly what is going on. But we watch on board with the GT3s, on board with Smiler Bully. He's got encephalosis just in front of him, and of course the likes of Lithium Fox and Josh Merrin, who's still leading that GT3 category. It's up in the front, Reska Kyoso looking to try and make an impression on Hyperstar in front. I'm curious as to why Gillen's had to pit. I almost certainly there has to be a fuel thing, right?
Yeah, 100% fuel. I think he's just done the calculations, and he's looking at his race fuel, and we're about 10 laps from the ends now. So he's done half of his race stint, and he's looked at the fuel. If it's below half, he's not making it to the end, and I think he's just decided to pit right now in anticipation and hopes that there's an unsafety car. As meanwhile, look at this, 6. I can't count, apparently. 6 GR86s in a line. This is incredible. Clark still at the front, followed by Carl McGuinness, followed by Mia Rose and Ben Serda. Still the top four the same. DM Gal, P5, and Flyers, I think, was P6 there. So they are still bump drafting, still having the time of their life, still acting as mobile skittles in the bowling alley.
What's fascinating to see is the lean on these cars, especially the GR86s. They come through that banking, and how compressed the outside suspension is on these cars, because it's pretty much at its absolute minimum extremity as they're trying to get the cars turned around the long banking that we have here at Daytona. Who knows what it's going to be like when we had to head to Talladega within the next few weeks, but they're fantastic battling for all the community entries, and fair play to them. They've turned up each week and had some of the best battling that I think we've seen.
Oh yeah, for sure. The driving has been absolutely incredible, and just the determination and grit to get back racing again if they've been taken out. You know, they've been so I'd say composed as drivers, probably not on the microphones as they say, but they've not taken it personally. They understand it's multi-class racing, and they've been just giving us arguably some of the best entertainment we've seen all season, and I've just got to give credit to them all at the moment. But that being said, it may get a bit less clean as we enter the last 5 laps of the race, because then they have to start thinking about track position.
You're absolutely right, and that's where the battle will start to come into its own fruition, because of course they will just start to care less about bump drafting the other cars around them and start caring more about exactly where their car is placed on the circuit. We ride on board with Josh Merrin, the leader of the GT3 category, in towards the horseshoe section and just controlling the car as much as he possibly can. The BMW, known for being stable over the curbs and especially been beneficial for the course of this season so far, stepping in as a good reservist for the majority of these races, albeit not necessarily frequently in the GT3s.
Well, I mean, when he does jump in the GT3s, he makes his mark, as they say, leading the pack at the moment and creating a little... Oh, that's Ryan, I think, collecting love. That's Lithium Fox, and also Smiler around. I mean, incredible stuff. I can't believe how that's happened in the short space of time. I think that's serious damage on Lithium Fox's car. So Ryan just goes in too deep, gets a snap of oversteer, corrects it, but that also seals Lithium Fox's fate, effectively.
I think we've just seen vehicular manslaughter here at Daytona Speedway, as Ryan at 83 will not get away with his crimes. If race controller watching, feel free to black flag him for the second time for that move that he has just pulled. But we are still seeing the race continuing on. We've got just over 7 or so laps to go here in Daytona. I don't think we'll see another appearance of the unsafety car, because of course we've reached that sort of period in the race, don't we, John, where they don't want to bring it out unless they absolutely have to. They want to let the racing flow to a natural conclusion.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got some great on-track battles as well, so it doesn't make sense to break those up. Carl McGuinness has been in a crash. There you go. There it is. It's happened. I think that's DM Gal as well, and I think that might be, we'll have to wait and see, but might be an unsafety car, not quite sure. But DM Gal, collision with Carl McGuinness as far as I can see, and that just caused chaos. I'm not exactly sure who got caught up in that as well, because I did see a car that got hit and then went immediately to pit road.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of exactly what quite happened, but I think this is a case of all three classes.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, it's not. It's just where the bump drafting's gone wrong. And there's the collision, unexpectedly. I think it was just, I believe, just GR86s that were caught up in the end there. It was Hayden Gullis with the most amazing of saves right at the death, but managed to keep his IndyCar in one piece.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a GT3, but I'd have to have another replay of that, to be fair. There was so much going on. And yeah, I think it's just there is a unsafety car called. We're getting confirmation there. So yeah, too much debris on track. That's it just is what it is. I mean, the whole pit straight is just a litter of GR86 debris at this point. I think it was just Clark bump drafting, and I think just tapped the slight wrong way. Carl McGuinness went round into the barrier passenger at that point, and then collected by some other cars. I'm not sure if we can get a read. So this is after the incident, and just the irony of it is they have to do an entire lap because they're past pit road. So yeah, this is just on board. I think this was Carl McGuinness. So Carl gets spun round. Yeah, there's not much you can do there. And there, yeah, it is. I think that was Joshima's that was caught up there. I think there was Ankura. That's an engine. Yeah, apparently there's...
That was gear, but yeah, that was just an interesting shot. I believe what would have been the bumper of the car second, but they are so close to the car in front. They were quite literally in the gearbox of the car in front. I believe just we're going to get... Is this a replay of what exactly happened?
I think this is a replay,
yeah,
yes.
You just see
so
the front
a little
car
bit of wiggling.
loose.
Yeah, a little bit of wiggling already, and yeah, just escalates from there. And it wasn't. No, it was a GR86. Joshima's there, round the outside, so close. And you can see Reska Kyoto going, oh, where do I go? Help.
It is that panic moment for half a second, isn't it? Where you just don't quite know which way you want to try and send the car to avoid any damage. Because if you can avoid a pit stop at this stage of the race, you absolutely will avoid a pit stop at this stage of the race, because that is the key factor to keeping track position. Now, one point that I want to bring up, we've got, what is this, 5 laps to go at the moment, minus any safety car laps that we are proceeding to do. Let's look at the push-to-pass status for the Indy cars at the moment, because there is still a couple of drivers, or at least one driver, that still hasn't used any, and he's running out of at least minutes worth of racing action, because when we get to lap 53, we'll have just over 3 minutes worth of racing to do, and that's if he wants to keep it on the entire time for those 3 laps, which you pretty much don't want to do.
Let me guess. Let me just make a guess. He doesn't have a button configured, does Alex Gillen? And that's possibly what I'm imagining. Surely he will have used at least 1 second of push to pass at the moment. But I think it's just that case of, well, I'm in the race now. There's not much I can do. I can't just tow to pit lane to edit the button. So, yeah, not quite sure on that one. Reska Kyoso's in a great place in terms of that overtake mode, or push to pass, as they call it. So, yeah, there's quite a few drivers, though, like Love 46, have run out or that are in the space of running out. Hayden Gullis has been very aggressive in the lead of the race, trying to retake P1, trying to just maintain that position.
Yeah, and now we're just waiting for the final few cars to catch their way up. Lithium Fox in the background, and I believe a couple more of the community entries just peeling their way through in towards the Le Mans chicane. And it'll be interesting just to know how this race is going to go. Let us know, and I'm going to say this again, with 5 laps to go here at Daytona. Let us know in the live chats down below who you think is going to take the win over all 3 classes, whether that be the winner in the IndyCar, the winner in the GT3 category, or even the winner for the community entries in the GR86s. Who do you think is going to take those top spots? I think my money at the moment here, John, I think, as you said, Reska Kyoso, with the insane amount of push to pass they still have at their disposal, assuming Gillen hasn't got the bottom bound like we're suspecting, that is going to be, you know, a controlling factor in these final few laps.
Yeah, you can go multiple directions with this. I think Brendan Hyperstar is the best placed at the moment because he's very good in defense. Reska Kyoso will have to use most of that push to pass to overtake. So that's a different tire choice, by the way, as well. Reska Kyoso on the softer compound, so they'll have to make that move stick immediately, as I think that's Love 46 in the pit lane. Indeed, as you got Ryan just coasting up to the back of the pack as well to rejoin. That will put him in 7th place once Love 46 does their pit stop. Or are they just doing a drive-through penalty? I'm not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see. But in any case, I think Ryan has nothing to lose. So I think also he's a dark horse in this one, that he does have the ultimate pace here and he could get some moves done.
Certainly will do. Safety car and race control letting us know the safety car will be in this lap. And I am being told with some undoubted confidence that this time, not only will the safety car be in for the final time, but they will clear the barrier. Apparently they've found some scheme, or they found some schematics as to how to clear it. They've done some mathematics, consulted with some scientists, and found the absolute perfect attack angle to get themselves over this chain fence barrier. As we do watch the unsafety car peeling its way around for the final time, it will be moments until the other one, the ramp and the prop, comes into play.
You know, this is one of the few racetracks that we go to that didn't start their life as an airfield. So I'm just asking the question to the unsafety cars. Did they get flight clearance for this procedure before starting? Because they might need it if their plans work out. It's a daring one, that's for sure. But last time I thought they invented a new type of car. They called it an airplane or an air car. Didn't work out that then, and I'm sure it won't work out now. But we'll have to wait and see. They've looked over their plans. They're going to do something different.
Who knows? They've checked the calculations. They've run it through the supercomputer. Unfortunately, all they could afford was a Nokia 3310. So they've done the best and made the best out of a bad situation. But who knows? The phones are bulletproof. Maybe the maths will be that is provided to them as well. They run round the banking down towards the Le Mans chicane.
I've understood. Yes, they're going to use the Nokia, throw it at the wall, destroy the wall, and go through the wall that way. Yes, brilliant, genius.
Great minds think alike, and for the unsafety car team, they sometimes have interesting theories, but that one sounds like a very solid plan. The speed now starting to ramp up through the Le Mans chicane and not paying much attention to the corner as it's traditionally meant to be taken, but that is not going to concern themselves at the moment. The beautiful face of Ben Daly rocketing that car forwards, and do we see the ramp in the distance? We do. Is this going to be the opportunity? Up and over, not this time, and both on safety cars getting a face full of chain fencing.
Nearly both of them cleared it, but just at the final point, it clipped the fencing and just tumbled back into the track. So close, 9.999 out of 10, but there you go. Lamp has already decided, right, on safety cars, I'm going to use the distraction to absolutely rock it, and you can see that push to pass. Look at those arrows. Everyone with the arrows is currently deploying the extra speed, the extra power, and you can see that difference on the restart.
Yeah, this is going to be a critical moment. Alex Gillen still not using any of his. Drops down to 5th place as Solstice there getting the better of Ryan at 83, or at least wanting to. I don't think they've passed through the checkered flag yet, so unable to overtake, but in towards the first corner. Brendan Hyperstar, a master on the ovals, still learning how to run through the infield, but at the moment, challenging Lamp for everything they're worth.
Yeah, for sure. And look at those Red Wall tyres on Reska Kyoso. That's going to be a danger, isn't it? Meanwhile, in the GT3s, Josh Merrin still leads. Ancephalosis P2 at the moment. Josh Immers has... Oh, no, that's Lithium Fox that has spun round. I'm guessing that's on the curbing. They're going to get caught by the GR86s. This might present an opportunity to get some overtakes done. The GR86s, I think, were braking or lifting off just in anticipation. Clark's going to have a really difficult task here to defend, as that will be Mia Rose trying to get up the inside, but Lithium Fox still squealing the tyres out of the International Horseshoe, but no overtakes done. Very close, and that's Reese being attacked for P4 as well. This is just drama, absolute cinema on the restart.
Not for the first time, as Clark had to slam on his anchors to avoid hitting one of the faster, in theory, cars. Over the course of the second, that's Brennan Hyperstar getting the better of Lamp in towards the Le Mans chicane, on towards what will be the final 3 laps of racing, 43, 44 and 45. And as it stands, burning every single ounce of push to pass that he has at his disposal. But Lamp behind has more. Ryan at 83 behind has more. Alex Gillen's found his button, everybody!
I was about to point that out. He's absolutely hammering that button at the moment. Ironically, he's been overtaken again by Ryan L83. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's happened there. But definitely the fastest laps falling 1:31.0. That's 0.8 of a second improvement. That extra power counts, doesn't it? You wouldn't find that down at Aston Martin Honda, would you? But you have Reska Kyoso attacking Lamp at the moment. But again, I think those tires are just overheating. Sure, they've got more grip. Sure, they're a softer compound. But it doesn't matter when they're about 1 billion degrees. Brendan Hyperstar looking comfortable at the moment in P1. Does Lamp have anything to try? Can Hayden Gullis do anything about it as well? I think what we're going to see is this field compress towards the last lap.
Yeah, five-way fight as it stands for the lead of the IndyCar field, and it's looking like a very similar story in the GT3s as well. Josh Merrin still leading, with Ancephalosis just behind him as well, as Sparks and Smiler Bull as the top four. The GR86 going side by side in towards the first corner. Mia Rose looking to put pressure on Clark, but can't quite get it this time around. Looks for the optimal entry in towards the corner, but they can't quite put as much pressure as they would have liked. Clark still holding that upper advantage. Back up at the front though. The IndyCars still side by side, still racing against one another, as this is Reska Kyoso right on the back of Lamp, looking around the outside and what is a more traditional IndyCar layout on the oval, down towards the opening section of corners. Brendan Hyperstar now burns, but look at the battery that Reska Kyoso has at their disposal in towards the first corner. Down the inside goes Hyperstar. It's going to be a hold by Kyoso trying to swing around the outside. Little bit of a slide there as the tyres just overheat, and Lamp finds their way back through.
Oh, that was so much overtaking, and they've just ended up in the exact position they were in. Ryan so deep into the corner, and that is going to allow Hayden Gullis back past Ryan on the Red Bull tires as well. So I think what we're seeing is just the tires overheating there, especially on the infield section. So they've got to be really careful in that. Reska Kyoso still hounding the back of Lamp there, absolutely pushing him around the corner. Same for Ryan. He's looking for a way past. He needs to make it work now, and is really just running out of time at the moment. Can Reska Kyoso get a good exit? They're catching oh no, Reska Kyoso, a little bit of a snap just when you don't need it. They're deploying energy. They've got energy to deploy, but so has Lamp for the moment.
Interesting to note, Hayden Gullis, the only driver on the harder compounder tyre, between 3rd and 7th on this field at the moment. Everybody else opting for the softer compound. Alex Gillen finds his way up to 6th place now. I have Ryan 83 just a few seconds up the road, shortly too late to try and mount a charge, but back to the GR86 field, and it's still Clark and Mia Rose becoming inseparable down towards the Le Mans chicane. Are they going to be able to find any way past one another in towards this braking zone? Or sorry, as they head through down towards turn 1, my apologies. And it's still Clark that leads the GR86.
Oh.
The IndyCar splitting the GR86 field, as that's going to be Brendan Hyperstar and Lamp going left and right. And this is where we're going to start seeing carnage and chaos.
No way.
The leader of the GR86 pack. Down the inside goes Hyperstar. Lamp looks around the outside. Contact between themselves. And 3rd place in the GR86s. And surely the podium chance disrupted here this afternoon as we head on towards the final lap.
I can't believe that. Just Lamp in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ryan's off as well. Just tagged, I think, a little bit by Hayden Gullis, trying to take avoiding action for the GR86s. They have not done anything wrong, but they're just in the way naturally of the IndyCars. And on that front straight there, just the two, I think P4 and P5 of the GR86s trying to do an overtake, just ended up throwing a spanner in the works at the moment. And look at that, Reska Kyoso, no tyres left whatsoever. Brendan Hyperstar will be able to defend this one potentially. You've got the Le Mans chicane coming up though, the final challenge before the end of the lap.
Challenge for both driver and of course the defender as they try to dive in towards the chicane with as much guts and as much glory as they want to try and summon out of this circuit. Brendan Hyperstar, nice and smooth through Le Mans chicane. Reska Kyoso, of course, will have the dying tyres, but manages to make their way through as well. They have a little bit more push to pass as they come around the final corner. But surely, oh so surely for Brendan Hyperstar, he might be a master of ovals. Today, he proves he's the master of rovals as he runs up towards the checkered flag. But Brendan Hyperstar to win here in Daytona. Reska Kyoso will finish 2nd. 3rd place will go to Hayden Gullis after all is said and done, with Alex Gillis finishing in 4th.
That is just incredible scenes right there, and indeed, we continue the drama with the GT3s at the moment. Actually, looks like Clark will be the next one to cross line. Will it be Mia Rose or will it be Clark? It's going to be a drag race to the line. Mia Rose just taking the side slipstream. Who's it going to be? There's a bit of bumping and argy-bargy happening. Will they make it to the line at all? Mia Rose just not being able to get it done. I think just getting all sorts out of shape, and Clark, oh, and there's at the end as well to collect them. So that is Clark winning as well. Mia Rose. Meanwhile, here, Encephalosis and Josh Merrin have come to blows in the Le Mans chicane. Josh Merrin looks to have this one under control, but Encephalosis is fighting. They're giving it the argy-bargy, aren't they? Once again, they both want this victory. It's going to be a drag race across the line once again, and it looks like Josh Merrin will take it by the skin of his teeth.
Interesting, there was some braking going on around the final banked turn. Not quite sure what's happened to Josh Merrin. Apparently he got a penalty there right at the end, so whether that'll make any impact to the race, we'll wait and find out. But Encephalosis taking the challenge right until the final moment, just 17 thousandths of a second, separating both himself and Josh Merrin up in the front. And oh my goodness, Des with a pile driver to finish off, and that was Lithium Fox as well, just sending it towards the opening corner.
That Lamborghini seems to have good straight line speed. I don't know what he was talking about.
Well, maybe when you compare it to a static object, I suppose, compared to everything else they've been flying past. But what a race it's been for Brendan Hyperstar. And we said this earlier, one of the fastest drivers on the grid in an oval. He's done it again in a roval, hasn't he?
Indeed, he has. And just looking at the leaderboard there, Josh Merrin has been demoted down with that penalty. So Encephalosis wins, Sparks P2 and Spider-Bull P3 as we get the winning donuts from Brendan Hyperstar just up to the finish line. That is just an incredible scenes right there. What can stop this man at the moment? He has been just the master of consistency and, well, in this entire championship, to be fair.
He has, and it's been a controlling force from start to finish. And Brendan, if you're watching, don't lean over your wheel until you fully get out of the sim. If you know, you know. But again, what a victory for himself. Reski Kyoso finishes second, as we alluded to earlier. Hayden Gullis, what a result for him to finish on the podium after what was a stellar finishing drive. And the complete results here for the IndyCars. As we mentioned, the top three. Gillen finishing in fourth place. Love 46 finishes in fifth, making it a 5-4-6 if you include her race number. Solstice finishes in sixth place with Ryan L83 in seventh. Lamp couldn't quite shine the light on his abilities here this afternoon as he finishes eighth.
Yeah, it's definitely not the usual order in the IndyCars, but in the GT3s, it is Encephalosis then that wins via that penalty for Josh Merrin. Sparks P2, Smilerball P3, I think, as I previously mentioned. So Joshima's just missing out on the podium in P4. Chesnoid Gaming, after spending basically the majority of the race without a front end, finishes P5, just easy peasy lemon squeezy. Stroop Waffle P6 with that really fishtailing for the Mustang today, so unfortunate for him. Lithium Fox really getting involved in the wars, getting taken out by Ryan L83, sadly, so P7. Josh Merrin with the penalty, and it's Des TV, I think, with the penalty as well, P8 and P9, with Storm Molina finishing laps down, basically spending the entire race in attack mode and not worrying about the safety cars, just breezing by them.
Yeah, basically trying to play catch-up, and the name was Molina, Storm Molina, but unfortunately it couldn't be for 007 here this afternoon. And then your community entries in the GR86s, with Clark winning by a hair's width by 151 thousandths of a second. Diam Gal takes home third place with Reese in fourth. FlyRX will finish in fifth with Carl McGuinness in sixth place. Asoy finishes seventh, and Ben Kerder, who raced oh so vigilantly in the cross car just a few weeks ago, couldn't quite bring out the performance here this afternoon. He'll finish eighth and a lap down. But that was your complete grid order. That was your complete finishing order after Daytona. What a race we have just seen. Thrilling, I think you'll say, John, from start to finish.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I haven't seen spectacle like that in a long, long time. A wonderful race. I think, though, I'm getting word in my ear, we have some interviews with, first of all, Mr. Hayden Gullis. What does it feel like to be back on the podium?
It feels great. My first podium in this series, I think. I don't think I've been on the podium before. Unless your stats have marked me down as a liar. Definitely not. No.
Don't think so.
And I thought again it was going to be another one of those races where it gets away from me, that I'm doing okay-ish all of a sudden. and then I bottle it. But it came to me in the end this time.
I think I equated it with your Formula One stats. That's what I was doing there.
Yeah.
Been on a long time on the podium.
That's fine. There's a lot in that F1 stats. Yeah.
we saw you basically leading the race for quite a while in there. So the pace was okay. How was it feeling, really?
Yeah, I mean, Daytona is one of those tracks. Like, I didn't do any laps in the IndyCar loading in. I literally jumped in and it was time to grid up. But I did do the 24-hour race here a couple of months ago all by myself. So, like, this race is ingrained in my mind. I go to sleep and I can still see this circuit. I'm hearing my engineer just go clear, like, all the time. It gives me nightmares. It wakes me up. But in terms of circuit, like, it was a case of just adapting slightly. The first lap, I think I might have caught out Alex by braking a little bit too early. And even then, throughout the whole race, I was still maybe braking slightly too early compared to some of the really fast guys. But keeping it clean. You keep it clean, you get rewarded. And I feel like I did that quite well in the early stages. And that was probably what caused me to lead the race for a considerable amount of time. And then got lucky at the end, I think, with the safety car.
Yeah, I'll be honest, we were talking to the unsafety car team right when that final one came out. They didn't want to call it. Right in the initial, they thought there was less laps left than there was. But of course, I think after reviewing the footage, it was almost certainly determined to require one calling out. I just want to, like, is it quite warm in your room, Hayden? You're looking rather red.
I'm just, I'm elated with the podium. I think I had to rush quickly because I didn't stream, I didn't jump on or record anything. So I was like, I'm on the podium, I might as well jump on, get the picture on. So rush around, get the camera. Get the pit loaded for you guys to see me. But yeah, it was good fun, a really fun race. I'm glad that safety car came out, but I was interested to see what would happen if the race played out. But I don't know if you caught the action at the end with the GR86s kind of determining me getting on the podium. But that was one hell of a battle with me and Ryan, and neither one of us was giving an inch there at the end. Both of us really wanted it, even when we flew over the grass section to avoid the chaos. But it was really enjoyable race.
No, it certainly looked it.
It was enjoyable from the commentary box as well. I mean, I think we can expect the same sort of on-track action from Sebring, but we've got a lot of fast venues as well coming up. So was this like a preparation for the chaos?
I mean, you always prepare for the chaos in this series, like with the GR86s being started. I got caught out by it down at turn 2, turn 3, in a side-by-side. I think it was with Reska. And unfortunately, I was just on the wrong line at the wrong time. And that's just the way that it works. Traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. Got there in the end. And I certainly did that today. And that's just the joy of this series. I think Fuji was the only one that was a bit of a dud this season because it was so wide and it was so easy to get past the slow-moving traffic. But around here, even though you had those sections, you had those flat-out sections, you still had moments in the infield section, in the bus stop chicane, where you had to get it right. You had to either lift if you were not going to make it, or you had to absolutely send it up the inside and hope and pray that they're going to see you coming, but you've also calculated it right on the brakes. And I think that's just the joy of this series, is that you have your own race. You got to work through the traffic. You've got to keep your wits about you. But there's also that hope that anything can happen. You could be myself, where I crashed, and Alex, who made a mistake at some point. Ryan had a crash. And then you can get back into the race, and there is still a hope for you. There's a reason to carry on. That's what makes it, I think, so enjoyable.
Absolutely fantastic. Hayden, again, just a massive congratulations on the podium. First of the iRacing series, and I'm sure probably not the last time we're going to see you on the podium, whether people celebrate that or feel some commiserations to it. As our producer whispered something in our ear that I probably can't repeat on stream. No, just wishing Hayden the worst in this race. But Hayden, pleasure to see you. Thanks for putting your picture-in-picture on right at the end. And best of luck for the next few weeks as well.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hayden Gallus, everybody. P3 for the IndyCar class. We move from P3 up to our race winner. We are going to speak to the wonderful Brendan Hyperstar after what was yet again a fantastic victory at a semi-oval circuit. Brendan, of course, one of the masters at an oval circuit. But before we maybe get in board with the celebrations, can you talk us through that moment where you maybe were upside down for a few minutes?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm trying to think of any other crash where I've flown just as long and just as far, and I can't think of one. Unfortunately, I think the only way to avoid that accident was just to lift, but I didn't want to lift. And like a Toyota moved up, right? But as an IndyCar and like the way the series is, it'd be completely unreasonable on my part to somehow think it was someone's fault other than me. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy moment. We stuck the landing too. Unfortunately, the car's meat fault, so we had to tow, but we stuck the landing. Any landing you can walk away from, right?
Yep, exactly.
Sure. Yeah. From what we saw in the replay, you had about a millisecond to respond to the Toyota moving across. So I don't think anybody was at fault for that one, just a racing incident, to be fair. But to be fair, I mean, the IndyCar can fly, apparently, which is new info for us in the comms box. But in terms of your consistency, I mean, what do we have to do? Do we have to give you like ballast or some sort of ungodly brake bias to nerf your consistency?
Might get maybe like a bounty at this point or something, right? Like $50 to ever can beat me. So yeah, we've done pretty well. Yeah, we've done really well. I knew this was a really challenging race. I think again, there's a couple times I thought like we may not have it. And Lamp definitely had more push to pass at the end, which like we'd almost used too much in the previous lap, just trying to get away and build a gap. So I was fortunate the traffic worked out kind of the way it did. Definitely the Daytona 24 experience helped as much as it could anyway. And it's a little bit just trying to be patient, also a little bit of luck too. And all the Toyotas in front of me eventually took their racing line, so I was offline, be able to beat past my acceleration. So we were barely able to do it, but Lamp and Reska kept us honest, and Lamp went Reska went all in going for reds, and I knew I was going to have to really push as hard as I can before you know, I'll say like if the safety car is like one lap less, I think this was probably Reska's race, because otherwise the primaries were overheating a lot, but the reds, you got like a lap or two, and then the rear grip out of corners is gone. So just thankful to pull it off, and yeah, happy to do so. That was definitely our toughest win of the season.
I think obviously we head from here to Sebring next time out, a completely different kind of profile of circuit, if you will. How are you thinking about preparations and maybe rods as we head to that circuit compared to a more traditional, tarmac circuit here?
Yeah, Sebring's definitely tough. Really fun circuit. It's mostly concrete, right? Because a lot of it's part of the airport, or what was an airport. So tire is going to be pretty big there too. Primaries will probably be the tire, but again, if there's a short stint the last couple of laps of this race, and yeah, you could gamble on reds for sure. With the tire change rule, you'll have to do them both. So probably not much to need to. It sounds high and mighty to me, but I just ran a full length race not too long ago, so there's not too much I have to do for practice. So we'll just show up and see what happens.
It's quite a close track, isn't it? So a lot of turns where there's only one line through it. So do you think it'll be more a case of just finding the race pace and getting a bit lucky with the overtakes, or how do you analyze how to get the best performance next time?
Yeah, I think traffic management will be key. I'm just thinking about that section before the tower corner. Yeah, there's nowhere you can go, right? So it happened a couple times here, even where like I came out of the first horseshoe and there was 2 GT cars in front of me. It's like nothing. I couldn't do anything. I had to wait unless I wanted to try and drive for the grass. And I thought about it and I realized that's probably a really bad idea. So I backed out. But at Sebring, there's very little runoff as well in most parts of the track. So you got to be pretty careful about the decisions you make, because you could easily go off in the wall. A lot of places, like the infield at Daytona, is just a giant grass field, so you can get away with a mistake and not hit a wall. Although if you go too fast, you could actually go across the track in the oncoming traffic. I hope that didn't happen today, or maybe I should have hoped for it. We could get some more views about some crazy crashes in addition to what we had already today.
Everyone had their fair share of interesting crashes, from upside down moments to facing the wrong way in the walls, and I think everything in between, where body parts and body parts of cars were missing. Probably should clarify that very quickly. But Brendan, absolutely fantastic effort from yourself today. We look forward to seeing you back again next week. And of course, we then head to Talladega, which is pretty much your stomping ground, isn't it?
I was just talking with chat. It's just like, if there's like Toyota's like 4 wide in the corners and I'm approaching at 255, like, like the only option is to hard brake, go to the apron, not spin out on the apron, come back up the track and also not spin out. So, that's going to be crazy. That one will just be, I think, mostly luck than strategy. But with the update to the IndyCar, the engine power has increased, and now it is very easy at 259 in draft. So that's going to be one of the fastest races I've egever done.
Something that the IndyCars didn't need is more power to pass GR86s.
We're actually geared out. If the gearing stack was just a little bit longer, we'd be above 260 easy.
Oh, wow. Well, yikes. Best of luck for when we head to Talladega with those moving roadblocks, Brendan. It's been a pleasure to speak to you as always. And again, fantastic win for yourself today.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Brendan Hyperstar, race winner for the IndyCars. We then head to Ancephalosis, race winner for the GT3 categories, who, of course, got it quite literally at the death, didn't he, John? With that penalty that was applied slightly earlier on. But I'll let you take this one forwards.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about that race end for a start. Argy-bargy, you have to. It's a Daytona victory. You want to go for it. But what exactly happened and how did you make it work effectively? Because you'd been in the fight for the lead the entire race. So how did you make it work?
I mean, a lot happened there. I did not know that I won that race until 10 minutes after, like a while after. I was basically sitting there. Well, I was doing victory donuts, and then I got victory blasted.
We saw.
we got a car hug. Yeah. And then, as I was just sitting there, I was like, wait, why does it say I'm in P1? And then I had to go back and watch it. So I thought that we had a proper drag race there and that Josh had beat me fair and square by an axle. It wasn't until I went back and watched it that I saw that he went over the curb. He went 4 wheels off the racing path through the 4th corner of bus stop, and he must have had a slowdown penalty. I guess you guys probably didn't hear the comms, but there was a bit of a moment as we're heading towards bus stop and we see an 86, and I had literally just said, like, guys, I think that's pretty much it. We're half a second back. Basically, it comes down to bus stop. If he gets a bad bus stop and we get a good exit, it's possible, but it's not likely. I'm kind of reasoning with myself, and then lo and behold, an 86 comes into frame, and you hear Josh come over the comms, and he says, "Hey, 86." I'm paraphrasing here. I don't know exactly what he says, but he says, "Hey, 86, lead car coming through. Like, let me through." Basically, TLDR. He says, "Let me through." And it's a content creation series, so I didn't skip a beat. I said, "No, don't let him through. Don't let him through." Kidding, of course. Kidding, of course. And then, I'm guessing he made a split-second call. I've definitely been there. When you're right behind a car, you're trying to get around. You don't know which way you want to go. It looks like he chose to go inside to the left, but he took all 4 tires off, so he got the slowdown penalty. It's crazy. Again, it took me 10-15 minutes to understand and believe what happened myself.
It was interesting you mentioned that slowdown penalty, because as you were coming around the final banking, we saw his brake lights come on a couple of times where he was just dabbing the brakes, and I was trying to figure out where that was making sense. And John obviously mentioned the potential of that slowdown penalty. Clearly not slowing down enough as he was battling and pushing you up to the top of the banking. But it was a fantastic battle, and again, must be a fantastic victory for you.
Yeah, so unexpected. I was ready for an awesome race, but that is not what I expected to walk away from today with. Yeah, I thought we were in a shootout. So the defending, I totally understood. But I guess he was going to maybe try to serve the slowdown penalty, and he's just trying to do whatever he could. But heck yeah, man, we're very excited about that. First ever Creator Series win.
It's a special one, for sure. And after a lot of attempts in both the WRC series and this one, it must be extra special to have it at Daytona.
Oh yeah, on a great track too. Again, so unexpected. I'm ecstatic. Congratulations to Aiden Pohl. Thank you for not being here, brother. Huge congratulations to Aiden Pohl.
Are you saying you want to inherit his ballast?
That's what it's sounding like.
No. No, they're asking if I want a 75 kilogram
I've got a replay
weight
of
added
what
to my car.
happened.
That's a
we
no
have-
thanks from me.
Yeah, so we are having the replay here of the flashing lights, Josh Marin flashing the lights saying GR86 get out of the way, please.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that is very easily 4 wheels off of the line. And this is why you saw the braking, Tom, is that he was trying to get rid of that penalty. We couldn't see that, but there you go. And that was move done and dusted, wasn't it?
It certainly was. And again, I think he was just trying to push Andy up as high as he could to minimise the slowdown that he had to do. And it just wasn't to be at the final time. He must be kicking himself as he came across that line, knowing he still had a penalty to his name.
Yeah, it's a big one as well. Demote him all the way down to P8, P7, P8. So tricky one.
But Ancephalosys, absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Congratulations on a win and a first win for yourself as well. And who knows, we'll see you next week out for Sebring as well.
Sounds good. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much. Ancephalosys, who won in the GT3s, who moved from a first win in the GT3s to, I believe, a first podium in the GT3. Smiler Bull joins us in the commentary box, and that is one smiling bull that is joining us.
Hopefully you're picking me up. Yes, you are. Excellent. I just got a warning then. Yes, hello everybody. Not a bad one for somebody who's usually on the other side of the microphone in broadcast. So I'm delighted. I didn't expect to get a podium at all. It's only my third ever race in the Creator Series, and to get a podium, yeah. Thank you very much for taking a corner cut. I appreciate that, Josh.
It's one way to work yourself onto the podium, isn't it, via other people's misfortune. But you had your own misfortunes too during the race that you had to recover from as well. So, was the car difficult to drive? How obviously you're motivated to get a good result. So how did you make it work out at the end?
I think that's what's known in the business as a lack of talent is what was causing the issues there. I got caught. I got caught with Belle when she spun at the Western Horseshoe, caused me to get suspension damage. But fortunately, there was a safety car called immediately, so I could get the pits and the fast repair done. So that saved my bacon there. And then I had a complete talent failure down at the Le Mans chicane when there was a safety car called, and I clipped the tyre bundle. So it was a case of again under safety car. Well, I'll just come into the pits and get that done and fixed. So the timing couldn't have been better for my talent failures tonight.
I think we saw a couple of instances where that Porsche was definitely facing the wrong way. But as the old saying goes, safety car giveth, safety car taketh away. And for you tonight, it certainly has given the opportunities to at least climb yourself back to a podium. But just talk us through that moment where you would have seen the penalty come right at the end. How good was that feeling, seeing that podium as yours?
So me and Anthropolosis, so we both figured it out at the same time. We were both in the same Discord room. I hear him say, "Wait, I'm P1," and I look, and I'm like, "I'm P3! Yes!" So yes, it was quite the moment was that. But it's after trying out the IndyCar last time in the rain, so that was challenging in itself. Coming to a track that I absolutely hate with a passion at Daytona, to get a podium is just like, it feels wrong.
I guess I have to ask you then, seeing as you've driven both sets of cars now, which do you think is the most difficult to drive in the Creator Series with the, overtaking, with the difficulties? What would you say?
So, it's a mix, really, because with the IndyCar, you're very much in control of when you make those overtakes on the slower classes. At the end of the day, the onus is on you to make those overtakes safely, no matter what some people think blue flags mean. In the GT3s, we were sort of hitting that traffic of the GR86s as the IndyCars were coming as well. That's the worst possible time to be able to have to come through. So I'd actually say, in terms of traffic management, the GT3s was a lot more tricky for me. But in terms of the actual physical driving, because you've got none of those aids of the ABS and traction control, I'd actually say the IndyCar was more tricky to drive.
Interesting. Well, Marla, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you, and fantastic result again for P3. We'll see you hopefully next time when you step into that reserve seat. Which car? It will remain a mystery until the point, but absolutely congratulations once again.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Spoiler ball, everybody. P3 for the GT3 class. And let's throw it over to our championship standings. It's Reska Kyoso and Encephalosis that top the team standings, with Brendan Hyperstar and Chesnoy just 10 points behind them. PoleNoodle.sim is on 160 points, with Hayden Gullis and Swelio in fourth with 158, just 2 points back from PoleNoodle.sim. That's a fun one to say out loud. Aerotech and Storm Molina are in fifth with 146 points. 83 Problems But a Corner Ain't One stands in sixth place, with seventh being occupied by Sparks by Designs by the Way. Alex Gillen and Stroop Waffle line up in 8th place, with Love 46 and Joshimus in 9th with 129 and 121 points between them respectively. And then down in 10th place, well, rather unfortunately, Family Friendly Fun Friends Forever with 111 to their name.
Glad you were pronouncing that last one, because that is an incredible name to pronounce. I think what we've seen there in the standings is two teams that have had both drivers in there that have gained a lead now in the championship. And then you've got the teams with Aidan Pole not being here and Suelio Almeida not being here as well. That's created a bit of a points difference. They were very, very close. I think within 15 points, or was it 10 points beforehand? So a bit of a gap being created, but as we know, things can change very, very quickly here.
It certainly can do indeed. Unfortunately, with all good things, they must come to an end. And our time here for round 6 of the iRacing Creator Series, unfortunately, has reached its end point. But John, where can the lovely people at home check you out if they want to do so just a little bit more?
Well, they can find me, first of all, popping to the shops to get some popcorn for next week. Tune in for that one. You can find me normally everything on social media at Is Amusing, and you can find me wrapped around a tree as usual. Seems to be a common theme, skill issue, as they say. What about you, Mr. Tom?
You can check me out on social media at They Call Me TK on pretty much every single platform. Above our heads are the addresses for the Creator Series socials at Creator Series GG on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Probably LinkedIn as well, but I don't know that for sure. Check out our producer behind the scenes as well, Gareth Allen TV. He's a legend. Go give him a lot of love as well, and I know he hates us saying it. But until we see you next time, next Thursday. No, in 2 weeks Thursday. For some action at Sebring, I think. We'll see you soon.
Pretty sure.
From all of us here, good night. God bless.